What's going on, guys? This episode is brought to you by Squarespace. And you know why Squarespace is special? It's because they are actually the first company that I used to create my website when I started Bloke in a Bar. That's right, all the way back in the day, like 2014, 15, I created a website. It was called the Locker Room Network. And, you know, I'm not too tech savvy. That's how easy Squarespace was to use to create my own website, because I didn't know that much about computers, and I was still able to make a really professional looking Squarespace website. So if you're a business, you absolutely need a website. People use Google all the time for websites to get an idea of what your business is, to engage, to call people, to book things. You can do all of that with Squarespace. They've also got a brand new AI program that helps you build out your website. So we're not just, you know, when you make it, it doesn't just look like you've made it. It looks like a professional has made it. There are so many tools to use as a business. You absolutely need this, guys. And a massive thank you to Squarespace for coming on board and sponsoring the podcast. It's a full circle moment for me all those years ago creating my own website. So I really do appreciate. So head to squarespace.com/bloke for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use code BLOKE to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. I'm telling you, if you've got a small business, you need a website, and you also need it to look professional, so when people come there, they can see you're legit. Squarespace is the place to be.
Just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar. And do not forget, tonight at 6 p.m, Aussie Footy Shorts and Bloke collaboration dropping. We've got 9 new designs. Fishing bloke, camping bloke, tradie bloke, you name it. We've got a grumpy dad as well. It's because we've got 9 different designs. It's a limited amount in each design. Guys, make sure to get in there. Once they're gone, they are gone. So be there 6 p.m. tonight. Is it on Aussie Footy Shorts site, or is it on ours as well? So go to Aussie Footy Shorts website and make sure to be there, because once they're gone, they're gone. Okay, how you going, Roo?
I'm going good, mate. Had a weekend up on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, my neck of the woods, eh?
Played some golf.
Golf country?
Yeah, found every fucking bunker I possibly could.
How'd you hit him?
Not well. Not well at all.
Fall from grace, because your last round was all right, right?
It was, yeah.
Timmy, how you?
I'm good, mate. Pretty uneventful weekend. It's done nothing but piss down rain in Sydney for a couple of weeks in a row, Kempy, so pretty quiet.
I know, I was here.
Get back on track, yeah. Too much, mate?
No, you said it's been raining in Sydney for the last few days, and I was like, I know, I was here.
Yeah, we have listeners outside of Sydney, so I was letting them know. Jeez, tough crowd.
Hammy.
Thanks for the weather report, Tini, because I was actually in Canberra this weekend.
No
Where it was very cold, but great to get an understanding that there was a bit of precipitation up here. Very quiet weekend. Just back with mum and dad, checking in with them, and obviously bye for the Tigers. So I just rewatched last week's game 4 or 5 times and got ready for this week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You? How are you going?
Yeah, look, it's been the trenches, the family's crook. So just, it's been World War III in the house.
Oh, okay.
World War III. But we'll push through it. We'll hang in there. Okay, let's get into it. Face the Music, brought to you by our friends over at Sportsbet. Give us a follow on the feed. Give Hammy a follow on the feed.
Yep. Maybe give me a follow on the feed this week. Not your finest moment on the feed. I don't think anything got up.
Well, actually, I got a bad beat. So I had Ethan Strange 2 or more, Raiders 1-12, and Manly being shit cost me a big multi.
You should have done what you do in Face the Music and just gone head to head rather than 1-12.
Should have.
So,
but then the odds wouldn't have been as high.
No, it wouldn't have been. But,
suck my odds.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. But maybe follow me. I've got a couple of futures bets up there. I've got a couple this week, which is still sitting up there. Tigers, exact finishing position 9th. Paying about $41, although I think we still can make the 8. And the other market that we've just got up there is NRL Pick Your Ladder. Now, this is, this time of year, everyone does their ladder predictor, see who's finishing where in the top 8. Can your team make the top 8? Can they avoid the spoon? So I've got 2 markets up there, exact finishing positions 1st to 4th and exact finishing positions 5th to 8th. There's some pretty big prices on there. If you're doing a ladder predictor at the moment, put your money where your mouth is. You can get on there, head to the NRL Pick Your Ladder tab on the sports.
Wasn't yours Raiders, Dogs, Panthers? Sorry, Raiders, Storm, Panthers, Dogs?
Mine,
like $30 or something?
I've got the Storm first, because when I was doing my ladder predictor, I actually need the Raiders to lose to the Tigers so the Tigers can make the 8. So I've got the Storm first, Raiders second, Panthers third, Bulldogs 4th. If you got on last week, it was $51. If you get on right now, it's $26. So there's some good prices getting around. Anyway, worth checking it out. It's a lot of fun. And if you do your ladder predictor, great market to get involved in.
All right, let's face a bit of music.
Let's do it. All right, so first game of the weekend, Storm 22 defeat Broncos 2. How's this for a premiership swing, by the way? way, before that game, $9.50 for the Broncos to win the comp. After that game, $26. That little 10-second passage where 2 hamstrings went has moved the market essentially $16.50. Biggest move in the premiership market we've had all year.
Oh, man.
Sorry to tell you, but
Yeah,
it was worth noting. I thought it was interesting. All right, in terms of how we went in this game, a few of us got a little bit too cute with the Storm 1-12. Only one person got any points in this game. That was Timmy. You had the Storm -6.5, so well done, Timmy. $1.90 in your skyrocket there. On to Friday, the Knights 12 defeated by the Panthers 48. Matty and myself, we just get footy. We had the Panthers to cover the 12.5 line. The rest of you got a little bit too cute, particularly Denon, who had the Knights head-to-head, $4.20. Don't know what you were thinking.
Value.
Don't know what you were thinking.
Value.
All right, then on to the Raiders 28 defeat Manly 12. Great game for the panel here. Denon, Raiders head-to-head, $1.44. Roo, Raiders 13 plus, $2.50. Matty and myself, Raiders -6.5. Only person to miss out on any points, the Raiders fan himself, who went Raiders 1-12.
It's about 4 weeks in a row I've got the Raiders margin wrong. That's all right.
Yeah, sucked in.
Chasing's value.
Sucked in. Then we go on to Saturday, Super Saturday. Not so super for most of the panel here, if I'm brutally honest. Dragons 22 defeat the Sharks 14. No points for anyone. Everyone was all over the Sharks in some way, shape or form. So no points in the first game. Brings us on to the next game. Dolphins 12 defeated by Chooks 64. Huge win by the Chooks. Again, no points for anyone on the panel. No points for anyone on the panel. They were all really hot on the Dolphins. So first 2 games on Super Saturday, nothing. Third game of Super Saturday, the last game of the day. Dogs 32 defeat the Warriors 14. I was the only one to score any points here. The Dogs -8.5. So across 3 games on Saturday, only one of us collected any points.
Jesus.
That was me. Denon, you had the Warriors 13 plus. Couldn't have been
Swinging for the fences.
more wrong.
We got 1 bet from 3 games.
Yeah.
That's horrendous.
Bang.
Well, I got 1 bet from 3 games. Nothing. So, pretty ordinary stuff. All right, on to Sunday. Spoon Bowl. Titans 18 defeated by Souths 20. Only one person got points. Guess who? The Souths fan, Matty. You had the Rabbitohs +6.5. Well done to Matty. And then to bring us home, Eels 19. Nice easy watch for Mobsy here. Defeat the Cowboys 18. Most of us were very keen on the Eels to win and win comfortably. Lots of 13 plus or to cover the lines. Denon, though, you finished strong. You had the Eels 1-12, $3.05.
I needed that. Jeez, I needed that.
Big
Might be
time.
enough to wrap the week.
Big
No, I got
time.
1.
Jeez, I
Greatest
needed
one of the
that.
weekend too.
So to be honest, fellas, pretty disgusting stuff this weekend. Not our finest week on Face the Music. Round 23 results. Matty and myself, we both had $5.70. Denon, $4.49. Roo, $2.50. Timmy, $1.90.
Yeah, pretty funny guy, huh?
That's atrocious
That's some of your
punting.
best.
So overall, Matty still out on front, $193.55. Denon, $192.24. Roo, $140.65. Myself, $139.99. Timmy, $139.01. So in the bottom half there's really only $1.60 separating third and last. So throw a blanket over him.
Wow. Because we're out in front here, we're not getting caught. So it's basically a battle between first and second, and then you guys can just make up the rest.
Well, still 4 weeks to go, but yeah, more or less. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. All right, that's Face the Music, brought to you by our friends over at Sportsbet. Let's get into the code story of the week. Don't forget, go to codesports.com.au. Use code Bloke for your discount. Mobsy, what's the story this week, mate?
Well, I've got to put it off to you, I think, this week, because we've got Telstra Tracker Rugby League's fastest men of 2025 so far this season. So, as a, I don't want to say former speedster, because I don't know if you've still got
No,
the
it's
moves or
definitely
not.
former. I promise you
Happened
that.
to me.
Sorry, it must be the camera angle. yeah. So, but what about this? So this is the data for those that don't know at home. The GPS data, the little chip that sits in the back of your jersey, monitors everything, and the NRL keeps tabs of this. So it's not the quickest player that you've seen, but it's the quickest player, the quickest on-field moment of the season. And what a turning back of the clock for Josh Addo-Carr. So
Yeah.
most sprinters hit their peak, 25, 27 years of age. You know, you see the Olympians come through and win those 100 metres and things like that. But cast your minds back to that King's birthday game. You remember when the Eels were on the attack against the Bulldogs? They had this little scrum move, was going to set up this brilliant sort of try, and then they got the ball out of dummy half and threw it straight to Matt Burton, who was then took off 80 metres down the other way.
Yep.
So the Fox came from the other side of the field and hit a top speed of 36.57 kilometres to... he just missed anyway. No, Matt Burton still got the try. But that was the quickest moment on the field for 2025. And it's a full K an hour quicker than the Fox was last year. Now, he's explained to us that when he was at the Bulldogs, he put a lot of emphasis on gym work, weights. He'd actually beefed up and put on 10 kilos. So when he arrived at Parramatta in the off-season, it was 97.5 kilos.
Wow.
And he's got that back down to 90, and you've seen the results. So,
Yeah, that carnivore diet, didn't he, last year? Yeah.
So he's thrown that out the window and come back. And it's a remarkable story because he's admitted that he was a little concerned a year ago when the Bulldogs parted ways with him, that whether he'd find another club. And there's so many tales where you see players who are sacked for whatever reason, that whether they do or don't find another club, but they're not quite able to recreate the greatness that they've had throughout their career. But people thought it was a bit of a risky move by Jason Rolls, but Fox has said that he had that meeting with him and promised him that he wouldn't let the Eels down, and I think it's been a great signing for him so far.
Mate, he's been outstanding. I'll be honest, I was probably in that camp of he's Fox past his best just because he relies so heavily on his speed. But he's just taken care of his body properly, and he's been phenomenal. He really has been phenomenal. So who's second and third?
Well, second and third, this is interesting. Timmy, you'll like this. Second and third, Xavier Savage at 36.18. Kayo Weeks, 36.03. You've got 3 Raiders in the top 10 with Seb Chris also in there. So
Seb Chris.
That probably leans into the fact that, the Raiders I don't want to say you've been playing great over the last 6 weeks, but you've had that ability to, when you need to, get yourselves out of trouble with that brilliant attack. So, and 3 guys in the top 10 is crazy. The other guy who's come into it is Casey McLean at the Panthers. He's 4th, so big future
he's
ahead.
Quick, man.
Teenager, 35.89 kilometres an hour. So the other guys in there, Ronaldo Mulatalo, Jareem Bula, Hamiso Tabuai-Fado, Ruben Garrick, and then in 10th this year, last year's fastest man, Jason Saab. He only managed 35.35 Ks an hour as his top speed this year. Last year, he topped out at 37.71, which is pretty fast moving. So, but it obviously takes into account ground conditions. You've got to have the opportunity, right? You've got to be in open space, and we saw that the Fox's time came when he didn't have the football in hand. So it's interesting to see. But what about this one? Fastest 3 players at every club. There's only one forward. Well, I'm not counting hookers in there because they're a bit craftier. But one forward who's managed to shame the rest of his backline guys. Dylan Lucas at the Knights. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, he did used to be a centre. So but I mean, that shows you he's so good. I can't wait to see him probably be in an Origin squad in the next couple of years, I think.
Yeah. Well, they had Fletcher Sharp, Bradman Best, and then our man. So how good's that? But so Dom Young was one of the top 3 at the Roosters, but hasn't been able to recreate. Hasn't had the opportunity, I say, back at the Knights yet. But Fletcher Sharp, James Schiller, Greg Marshew, Callum Bonga. Take a look at yourselves.
Yeah,
You've got
come on.
Dylan
Yeah,
Lucas. There's bragging rights. I like that.
Man, it's funny. You're going to see wingers now chasing every line break so they can get their top speed.
You do wonder though, right? That the quickest wingers in particular in the game haven't had at some point in the season where they've been tear away chasing after a player with the ball, but I guess it doesn't always work
also,
that way.
very, unless you have a chance of getting the player, and it shouldn't be like this, but to get up to top speed where you are truly moving, because you're going to gash yourself if you do that. Very rarely, because you can, if you're already fast, you can run pretty fast and you look like you're going hard, but to go actually balls to the wall, you very rare. And obviously for example, I'm sure Cobbo's tackle on Coates, he was going as fast as he could because he knew he could get there. Obviously, Adokar on Burton as well. Wow, that's super interesting. So you go to the website and there's going to be all the details with it.
So we've got a really cool little widget there that shows you the top 10, but then it shows you the top 3 at every club. So the top 3 at your club, you can go through and have a look through. And we brought the fastest guy in the office, Phil Buzz Rothfield, in to go through the list and analyse it. And he spoke to the Fox for us. So He does claim to have. He reckon he had the best calves in Sydney back in his day. So I've seen it now with the Cronulla Sharks tattoo on it, and I disagree. But to your point before about players when they need to hit top speed, all the mail out of North Queensland when a young Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow came down from Cairns was we've never actually seen him go full speed because he's only ever run as fast as he needs to, not as fast as he can. But he's got such a high cruising speed and that. And he's balanced. He's so upright and balanced that you never see him sort of. Yeah, he always looks in control when he's at that speed. So
I think it's the same out of the Dolphins still as well.
Yeah,
I feel similar. Yeah,
I would love to see just one time him at full pace because I feel like he's still got another gear in him. Oh man, that's super interesting. So make sure to go to Code Sports. But also, you got any other stories this week?
Yeah, we have. We're getting closer to November 1, so our guys are keeping an eye on. Clubs are desperately trying to sign up players and lock them away before November 1 because of the Bears coming in. But it looks like a little bit of a halves merry-go-round at the moment. So Jack Cogger on the verge of a return to the Panthers to be that backup for Nathan Cleary, which obviously did so well a couple of years ago in that grand final. It came on in place of Jerome Luai when Luai had that injury. So, but that would see Brad Schneider potentially, he would potentially head elsewhere. So the thoughts about him potentially going to the Cowboys, looking at the Dolphins. But Sean O'Sullivan, Canterbury Bulldogs, to provide that backup and provide that experience for a young halves. Because we did our player agent survey a couple of months ago, and one of the questions we had was, who is a current player that you could see as a head coach in the future? And a lot of them said Sean O'Sullivan. One of the smartest footballers you'll meet, understands the game, just lives footy. One of those guys that really just takes everything on board, and that everyone that he's come across just speaks so highly of him. So if he gets in that Canterbury system, and you see what the Bulldogs are doing with some former players of their own there in those coaching ranks, that could be another guy who might just sit there under Cameron Serrato in the long term and sharpen his nous up. But there's a few moves going ahead that, and I think you saw the other day, guys, with Lewis Dodd, with being told that he could look elsewhere. Obviously, that hasn't worked out for him. I still think he's got a future. His preference would be to stay in the NRL. I think we saw with St Helens that he can play, and that I still don't understand why South probably haven't given him the chances. I know Wayne has said that he doesn't want to give someone an opportunity who's not ready or hasn't deserved it. He wants to have that line in the sand moment. But even thinking of a club that, South are investing $700,000 in young Dodd, so if they want to get some market value on him elsewhere, give him a chance in first grade to put up his value, that another club will say, okay, well, we're going to take, we'll take him off your hands if you're going to contribute some part of the salary. So a bit of movement going on ahead of November 1.
Oh, yeah, love that, because it's food for us, just content. Mate, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it. And as I said, go to codesports.com.au, use code /bloke, use code bloke for your discount. A massive thank you to Code Sport as always. Alrighty, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And most of all, join the Bloke Club. It's completely free at www.bloke.club. Okay, time for the Hungriest player. Hungriest player this week is very close call, but we were going to go strange, but we went Tedesco. That's right. Tedesco is our hungriest player. Use code TEDDY for $7 off a chicken shop near you. Our hungry local shout-out goes to Springers, serving juicy, tender charcoal chicken in Caroline Springs. If you want to get the $7 off chicken shop near you, use code TEDDY on Menulog this week. And we'll talk more about Teddy in the game review, guys, so stay tuned for that. Okay, now it's time for the Grumpy Team of the Week. Go to grumpycoffee.com.au, grab your coffee. Got pods, got whole bean, got it all. Okay, 1, Teddy. 2, Coates. 3, Latrell. 4, Critter. 5, Mark Nwanga Nitawase. 6, Strange. 7, Sam Walker. 8, White from the Roosters. 9, Grant. 10, Spencer Lenu. 11, Leilua. 12, Young. 13, Horsburgh. 14, Gutho. 15, Hopgood. 16, Clemmer. And 17, Bullymore. That is your Grumpy Team of the Week. Okay, time for the Kayo Can't Miss moment. Our Kayo Can't Miss moment was the crazy Roosters versus Dolphins first 20 minutes, which we will also get into when we get into the review. But that is going to be brought to you by Kayo. And you can't miss it. Fox League exclusive games this round are Warriors versus Dragons, Friday 6 p.m. Sharks v Titans, 3 p.m. Saturday. Broncos v Dolphins, 5:30 p.m. Saturday. Tigers v Manly, 2 p.m. Sunday. The 2025 NRL season is heating up. The Roosters are still undefeated. Watch every game live and ad break free. Also, cricket returns to home turf as Australia and South Africa clash in high-stakes white ball series. Watch every ODI and T20 live, only on Fox Cricket. And the motorsport action doesn't stop as MotoGP heads to the Red Bull Ring this weekend for Austrian Grand Prix. Watch every MotoGP qualifying practice and race live and ad break free from lights out for the checkered flag. Okay, the NordVPN defense play of the week. It is Selwyn Cobbo's tackle on Coates. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. I tell you what, I wonder, does Selwyn Cobbo make this tackle if he didn't get dropped early in the season? I wonder if that was the little kick up the backside that was needed to just head down, bum up, and just play your best.
It's really unfair on Selwyn. It was such a big play, but obviously the injuries happened in the same player, so it's sort of forgotten about to some extent, but it was a huge effort.
It's crazy. Absolutely. Coates is... it shows you how quick Kayo is for a big man.
It's a great point you make, and I hadn't thought about it that way, Kempy, but to answer your question, I can know he doesn't.
Yeah.
If you hadn't been given the kick up the bum of being dropped to Q Cup, we know he's got the brilliance in him, Selwyn Cobbo, but it has been probably these effort areas and those 1%ers that have let him down in the past, and just deciding to rip and tear and chase across field for a play that you're probably not going to have an impact on, but you do it anyway. They're the 1%ers we talk about. He did it, and he made one of the great try-saving tackles we've ever seen.
I can't believe he still only scored Coates because his leg was on his arm.
It was ridiculous.
Crazy. So that's our NordVPN defense play of the week. Look, there's a reason that the Defense Player of the Week is brought to you by NordVPN. It's high security, protects your information, stops fraud, and stops your social media from getting hacked. I just got back from Vegas a few weeks ago. Used NordVPN to stream everything. It was super easy. Another feature which is great, I had it on when I was at the airport, so when needed to use that public Wi-Fi, my security was protected. Jump on today, protect yourself with NordVPN. To get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/blokeinabar. Our link will also give you 4 extra months on 2-year plan. There's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. The link is in the podcast episode description box. Alrighty, the reason why I try to move through that all quickly because we've got an extra topic here. Tino says he's going to the open market. I'm telling you right now, I've never seen a comment section with every single team desperate to get a player. Usually when a player goes November 1, there's all this there's some negative chat. There's he's overrated, he's this. Every single team was represented with Tino going to November 1. I think this is smart from Tino. Yes, it's upsetting for Gold Coast Titans fans, but he's done as much as he can there. Unfortunately, it hasn't seemed to work out. I say it all the time, but it's a little bit similar. Obviously not as drastic, but it's just a bit similar to the Haas situation. If Broncos keep not going deep into finals, I would understand if he was to go somewhere else. The big question is where does he land? I personally think he'll land back at the Storm.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure. Once you said that, it's all sort of lined up for me. Makes complete sense, doesn't it? And I think Melbourne, probably since him and Brandon Smith left, they've been struggling to find that extra dude. That one makes complete sense to me. I'd like to see it too.
And I know before he signed his Gold Coast contract, Storm went after him hard. Super. And I'm pretty sure they were public about it, which they're never. That's how much they were going after him. Timmy, where do you reckon he'll end up?
The Storm one, as you said, makes sense because of the new Perth franchise coming in and all this sort of talks heating up. Maybe Cameron Munster ends up over there. And then there's uncertainty at the Storm over Jonah Pezzett and Tyron Wishart and all these options to play in the halves. Two blokes who probably don't want to be sitting, waiting in the wings for much longer. Granted, Tyron Wishart, he's become a key player off the bench for the Storm, but both definitely capable starters. So Munster to Perth on an absolute wicket, which will free up a lot of cash for Tino to return to Melbourne where it all started for him. Well, not all started, but where he played such a big part of his early career. So Melbourne probably makes sense. And even speaking footy-wise, what does this Storm squad need? I think it's a middle forward. I think that's the one place they're lacking at the moment, and that's no disrespect to Josh King or Stefano Udakamanu, but they can add, when they're coming up against, say, a Raiders or a Broncos with Haas and Carrigan come finals time, my question mark, can their middles get up for these sort of games?
Well, even on the weekend, Broncos were actually rolling for more metres than the Storm.
Yeah, that's it. So if they add Tino to that, even at the expense of a spine superstar, which they have another 3 of, if Munster leaves, I think it makes sense.
I will say, in regards to Tino, I actually watched the highlights of Game 3 Origin again the other day, and I just absolutely loved it. But I went back and watched the first set. In the first set of Origin, Tino took 2 hit-ups and pretty much poked his nose through both times. And I just think that, because he was out for a year, you don't realise how good this guy's been in Origin, and that's obviously the toughest arena that you can be in. So where else do you reckon he might land?
The Storm one makes sense, as you kind of touched on. There's a couple of other teams I think you can never rule out, particularly with players moving, big names at the moment. One of them is the Roosters. Obviously, they cut a couple of forwards at the start of the year. Terrell May left and Warrior Hargraves went away as well. Where their cap's at, I don't know, but that never seems to be an issue for them. They find a way to kind of get people there. The other one's the Doggies as well. I don't know.
Free pub?
Well, maybe. But, he probably wants to go somewhere where not only he can make a bit of cash, but also win something. And I think, those are probably a couple of clubs that they've got a lot of ingredients there. Maybe a real big dog in the forward pack is maybe one thing that they don't have. So I just wonder whether both of those two, the Storm makes the most sense, but if you're looking at some other options there, those are the two that probably, I don't know, feel like there could be a bit of legs to them.
It's even hard though when you look at Canterbury. They've got Leo Thompson arriving there on a big wicket.
Yep.
Even the Roosters, what they've got Reece Robson arriving, apparently DCE arriving. A lot of young guys they're going to have to re-sign as well. I keep looking at it. I don't know if anywhere else makes that much sense to me other than Melbourne.
I wonder, I'm trying to think in regards to other, because I don't think he's going to go to a team that's struggling for a big wicket, because if he was going to do that, he'd just stay at the Gold Coast Titans.
We can see him in Sydney, location isn't an issue kind of thing.
I mean, he went down to Melbourne and had a great start to his career, so he's not against it, I guess. Any chance of Perth? I'd be surprised with that, because it would be basically going there just for a big wicket.
Well, that's the key, right? How much of it is money incentivised and how much is trying to win a premiership?
But I look at it and I go, well, if it's money incentivised, just stay at the Titans. You've got this 10-year deal that goes up, I think, 10% with the salary cap or some shit. So it's you'd just stay there, wouldn't you? Rather than trying to build a whole new club.
That's what Perth could offer him, though. Blank slate, they'll... if the Dolphins are anything to go off, they'll probably struggle to attract players, at least in the early days.
How much money do you need, though? To go live over in Perth, and you're already on $1.2 million a year. I mean, I get it. If you want to get $1.8 million, fair enough. But yeah, surely he doesn't want to end his career like that. He's too good. Surely he wants another prem.
If Munster goes there, though, does that sway him a little bit as well?
Yeah, maybe.
There's part of me, my other concern with him going to Perth is, he's gone to the Titans and he's been their identity for the last few years. And it's been a tyre fire, realistically. Big punt to go to another new franchise and try and set up something.
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand why he would go to Perth other than huge wicket.
Yeah, I can get around it more if Munster's there. I can start to understand a little bit, but yeah, I think more and more. I don't know. Dragons just let Jack DeBellin go. Have they signed anyone? They're just sort of relying on the young guys coming through up at St George mostly. I
couldn't picture him in any world in a Manly jumper, but they need a middle desperately.
They desperately need a middle. Yep.
What about? I think we got a good injury report on Tom Flegler the other day down at the Dolphins.
Looking like he's aiming for round 1, 2026. Okay. Yep. The Bulldogs one. I understand what you're saying, Leo Thompson's arriving, but they did go after him initially, with the whole Laundy coming out saying, I'll give him his own bloody... so they did go after him. And we do know that, clubs, when they want someone, they find a way.
Dogs wouldn't shock me one bit. And as you said, premiership window, they're in one now, and it's probably only going to strengthen in coming years. And, I think they'd have a bit of money to spend. Like you mentioned, Leo Thompson, bit there, but Connor Tracy's their fullback. They've got, Bailey Hayward's probably the starting 9 next year.
Max King would be on, 400 maybe? And even then Sam Hughes probably on 2.
Didn't pay a stupid amount for for Lockie Galvin. Let's have a look what the future looks like. You know, we speculate over Matty Burton and how long he's there for potentially with Mitch Woods coming through. So I think if the Dogs wanted to make it happen, they probably could.
Surely they could.
Not that they need to, but could Penrith be a chance? Like they haven't. Well, they've signed over the last few years. They've let go of a lot of players, obviously, and like I look at, Nathan Cleary probably should be the highest paid player in the game. He's probably not being at Penrith, I would suggest. Like the guys that they've kept, I don't think they'd be paying an absolute premium for any of them. They've just lost Fisher Harris, Luai. All
It's
the
not a
guys
bad
they've lost
shout.
in the years before that. Once again, like I think with Lindsay Smith, Leota, Liam Henry, those sort of guys. Not sure if they need to, but like guys like Scotty Sorensen that are rumoured to go over to Perth as well. I just wonder if maybe they could be a sniff at it.
Jeez, imagine him in that system. Holy
Like what
moly.
they would have signed Blaze. I don't think they would have signed Blaze on huge money.
No, I don't
He would have
think
gone there
so.
for opportunity. I think Papali'i would have been very similar. Like, look, have a look at their spine. Like, they wouldn't be paying Mitch Kenny heap. They wouldn't be playing Blaze Talangi a heap. I think Edwards and Cleary would be on value there.
Yeah.
And you have a look at their reserve grade side. It's not like there's 10 first graders there anymore.
Yeah, because it's been drained. Jeez, him at Penrith. Oh, fucking Jesus Christ. That is a scary prospect. That is a scary, scary prospect. Let us know in the comments section who do you think where Tino will land. Also, leave your questions. We'll bring back Beak's Bag as the season kind of winds down. So leave your questions in the comments section on YouTube or Spotify. All right, just before we get into the round review, service of the week brought to you by Aspley Mazda and Luke Camilleri, LDC_01. Give him a follow. And guess what? Isaiah Katoa is now part of the team. He is part of the team. So, I think it's got like 4 or 5 NRL players now, Lukey. So make sure to give him a message if you need it. And he's actually given us a deal just for Bloke club members. Sorry, for Bloke members. All you got to do, ask for the Bloke pack, and you'll get tailored pricing on new and used cars and 15% off servicing for Southeast Queensland. And that's all thanks to Aspley Mazda and Luke Camilleri. So make sure to get in there. Welcome to the big fella Isaiah Katoa joining the crew. How good's that? The service of the week. Services in he served his team, and that's Matty Burton's 40-20. It was absolutely insane. And we'll go deeper into it in the review, guys, but I mean, to nail that offload is actually insane. Like, that boot is crazy.
Yeah, in the conditions is wild.
And he hit on the outside of his boot so it would curl out over. Like, just insane stuff. So that's our service of the week, brought to you by Ashley Mazda and Lukey. Give him a follow, LDC_01. Okay, round review. Storm beat Broncos 22-2. Honestly, I actually am pretty happy with both sides in this game. I actually thought the Broncos fought really hard. I thought the Melbourne Storm looked the best they've looked in quite a while. There was probably maybe 10 minutes where I was like, they probably took the foot off the pedal a little bit. But I thought both teams played really well. I think the Storm did exactly what they needed to. I thought the first half was finals footy standard, and the Storm and Broncos showed that they can go at that kind of level for long periods of time. I think, yeah, good game by both teams. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I agree. The scoreline, obviously, Melbourne by 20, but geez, I thought Brisbane were brave. Considering you lost both your ball players on that one play, just crazy. In Melbourne, against the Storm, it doesn't get much tougher than that. So I think Melbourne, defensively, I thought they were quite good in this game. Granted, against the Broncos side, without halves, read into that what you will. But, yeah, I think both teams, obviously, if you're Brisbane, you're not walking away happy, but I wouldn't be too disappointed with this.
No, and I think the one question, we've had about Brisbane all this year is, do they have the grit and defence? And at least they showed it in this game, consistency and grit. And I felt like they showed it in this game.
I think you've had wins that I've been more disappointed in Brisbane with.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. What do you reckon, Timmy?
Yeah, I think Melbourne they did what they needed to do. I think they play and have for a couple of years now, particularly this year, a really expansive style of footy, and they're happy to throw the ball around and use it and be ultra aggressive. From early on, they looked to play a sort of more conservative brand of footy in this, and then as soon as the Broncos lost their halves, they just went, all right, boys, they're going to run out of steam. They've have too many changes, so just complete, and we'll win this game. So I think it was a pass mark. The Broncos, I'm probably not as sort of, comforting towards them it's one where you can easily put a line through. They lost both halves in a game. I just think of any team in the NRL to lose halves during a game, to be able to put Ben Hunt there, one of the best halves in the competition, in there, who played there in this squad for the first half of the season. Billy Walsh is an option as well, who was off the bench. 22-2. They didn't have a line break in the entire game. Payne Haas was absolutely immense and sort of carried the pack a little bit. Yeah, I thought they were okay at best.
Hammy, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, they'll brave the Broncos. Obviously very tough to come back after losing 2 players in the space of 10 seconds, and then, a little bit of salt in the wounds. Cobbo, who I thought was great, we spoke about him having a bit of time in reserve grade, came back, had that great tackle.
His bench was down to 1?
Yeah, by the end it was. Yeah. So unfair that he went off as well with a looked like a pretty serious hamstring injury as well. But
both Selwyn and Ezra will miss the rest of the season.
Yep. I mean, the Storm in Melbourne, very, very tough prospects. So it's always going to be tough going down there anyway, even if everyone's firing. But yeah, Storm pretty good. Still, I don't think have gone bang or fully clicked yet.
Yeah, I reckon they got more in them.
They got more in the tank. Yep. But certainly the Brisbane Broncos pretty brave given the circumstances.
Ezra's confirmed out for the year, is he?
Well, that's what the report was. And Reynolds, he's actually got the shortest length of injury.
Yeah, wow.
Which I was so surprised at, because I thought Reynolds would be the longest. The reason why I'm so happy with what the Storm did is I just wanted to see them grind a win out. We know they can attack. And we still saw some brilliant attack from the Melbourne Storm. And you can even look at the line breaks. I think it was 5-0. I just think that the Melbourne Storm, that's the one question I've got, is when the game goes back and forth, because usually what happens is you go down to Melbourne. I know this isn't day games, but you go down to Melbourne, they blow you out the water in the first 20 minutes. They score 3 or 4 tries, and then they kind of take a back seat, let you score a try or 2, and then maybe finish you off at the end. What I liked about this is for essentially the whole first half, it was just a grind, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the Broncos forward pack was winning the battle physically, and yet the Storm was still winning the game, which suggests to me that even that gives me more hope that if they get up against the Raiders, that even if the Raiders are beating them for meterage each set, that they can find ways to combat that with their side-to-side kind of ball playing. So that's why I was so happy with the Storm. I agree with you, Hammy, though. I do think they've got another level still left in them. And look, the way I kind of see it is if Ezra and Reynolds are still on there, and they lose 22-12 down in Melbourne. Let's say they got 2 tries, which is very reasonable. I could live with that as a Broncos fan with where they're at right now as a squad.
Yeah, I think just looking at it, as I said, I think Craig Bellamy probably earmarked this game and put it down on paper and said a finals preparation game for our middles, because we're coming up against these 2 Adonises in Payne Haas and Pat Carrigan and a really good Broncos forward pack. And they just looked like they wanted to get into the grind and into that arm wrestle from very early on in the game, even before those injuries. And, they achieved everything they needed to.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've got to say, Stefano's form since Origin, or maybe a week or 2 after Origin, has been absolutely outstanding. The Storm do it again, and obviously he's got to do it over a longer period of time, but this is the best footy he's ever played in his life.
Yeah, he's been good since Origin, and we obviously spoke about it on the podcast. But if a Tino arrived there and Stefano could be the number 2, I think that's perfect. I'm not convinced he's ready to be a 1,
the main guy
now. I think as the 2 guy, I reckon he's perfect though now. He's been playing some really good footy the last few weeks. The other one that I thought that came back in this week, boys, and I know obviously he's got a lot more attention this year via Origin and everything, but Trent Leary defensively is so important to this Melbourne Storm side.
You know what? As I said, I watched the Origin highlights again, and I just think that the genius of Billy Slater to select Trent Leary, watching his contact, watching everything he does in defence, I don't think I've appreciated Trent Leary as much as I should. I've always thought he was a good player, but we so focus on attack, how good are you in attack? We don't actually look at defence often, but, mate, he very rarely loses contact.
Yeah.
Very rarely loses contact.
And obviously I'm not out there, but it looks like communication-wise, he's incredidly important through the middle too to me.
Man, and you look at that Origin game, he was the glue because he's a 13, and they won the battle against a crazy forward pack on paper that was supposed to be better. And so, yeah, I'm with you, mate. I think Trent Leary has just gone from strength to strength, and I think that the best thing for him was going into Origin because he looks more confident now, looks more established. But we've got to speak about it. Harry Grant, my God, he is unstoppable. He doesn't even, if he has even a quarter of a quick play of the ball, he will make you pay every single time. Without Harry Grant, I reckon that game, goes down to the wire. Like, that's how much he tore us apart. If they just had a normal number 9 that was just off the deck, I reckon Broncos might lose, 12-6 or something like that. But Harry Grant there just absolutely annihilated us. And I think that, like, he's got to be one of the best ball running 9s we've ever seen, at least in the NRL era. I haven't watched much before that, but at least in the NRL era, I would have him as one of the best 9s we've ever seen when it comes to running the ball.
He's the best hooker in the world by such a big margin. And, like, you compare the hooking position and Harry Grant to number 2, whoever the second best hooker in the world is, I don't know who that is. That gap compared to any other position, it's just daylight. Like, I don't know, maybe a fully fit Brian Toto compared to any other winger is like the next biggest gap. But what Harry Grant's doing and getting better and better and better, there was a bit of criticism around him after Origin 1, which was, I think, his first game back or second game back from a pretty lengthy injury layoff, and he was just a little bit off and wasn't quite there. But what he's done essentially since that game, and you mentioned pass selection, Kempy, but every single time that there's that, doesn't even have to be a quick play of the ball, but half an opportunity on the line and there's blokes going everywhere, he takes the right option every single time.
It's mental. He is just going to a whole nother level. And I think that, like, you could argue he's one of Storm's best masterpieces. And what I mean by, like, their ability to hang on to him while Cam Smith was at the club and just stay patient, just constantly talking and communicating. Obviously, they loaned him out to the Tigers. I reckon every single other club probably loses him, but the Melbourne Storm just somehow managed to keep him, and it literally set them up for the next decade.
Yeah, and the beauty of it as well, we talk about it with a heap of guys, and I think Harry Grant's one of these guys that we sort of forget about in this regard. Like, he's another one that would have played 40, 50 games in reserve grade.
Yeah. I mean, it helps so much.
Come in first grade as an 18-year-old, fresh, learning it. Like, he played up there at the Falcons for years, and anyone that followed the Q Cup or the Falcons knew, oh, fuck, there's a 9 up there, like the next big guy. As you said, like, potentially the best running 9. I'm trying to think, who else would you put in front of him, realistically? I think as well, to be fair to guys that have come previously, the game is more suited right now to running 9s than it probably ever has been. Yeah. But, like, I don't know, like Isaac Luke would have been up there, but I'm taking Harry Grant every day of the week. Like
what, Cookie at his best, maybe?
Cookie at his best, sure, but
I'd still go Harry Grant just to his options.
His best was like a 2-year period that was unbelievable. Like, mate, Harry Grant, he never takes a bad option.
You just, you just watch, every time he gets out, you can see the defence begin to panic because they're just like, he's going to take the right option here.
And as well with Damien Cook, like, I think Cookie, at his best, he had to play behind a forward pack that was winning. Doesn't matter with Harry Grant.
Yeah,
he just wins the run for you.
It's honestly, one of the first sets that Storm have, a minuscule quick play of the ball, boom, down the side, goes overs, hits his winger, line break. It's just like, how does that happen? He was in the middle of the field with a play the ball. He's just passed to his friggin' winger, made Selwyn Cobbo jam in for no reason. It's just incredible. So Harry Grant was outstanding. I thought Munster had some good moments as well. I think Wishart, I thought Wishy was really good. I thought he was really good. To be honest, like I thought it was a good, solid performance by the Storm. Who else stood out to you guys? Oh, well, obviously we can speak about Xavier Coates. Oh my God, bro. He literally ruined the Broncos season. Like, he is single-handedly ruined our whole club season. First of all, that intercept that he took, like, that was a try for all money. To have the confidence and the guts to make that play and then, break 3 or 4 tackles, only just get taken out, would have gone down as one of the best tries of the season. But, like, Xavier Coates, he's just gone to a whole nother level. A lot of people would feel Zach Lomax is the best in the air attacking. I disagree. I think it's Xavier Coates. I think that I'm more confident Xavier Coates catches a crossfield bomb than Lomax. Don't get me wrong, I still think Lomax is good, but I reckon Xavier Coates is the best in the competition at catching high bombs across the field.
Which of the two of them is first picked for the Ashes at the end of the year?
I'd have to go Coates
right now.
Yeah, I'd have to go Coates.
I would have said Lomax before Origin.
Yeah.
But I think it's Coates now.
Mate, the one thing that I think Coates has, he just has, I reckon, a probably better finishing. Like, Lomax has good finishing, but some of the tries that Coates has scored have been, like, absolutely insane. What are you, Jimmy?
Yeah, Fox was on the Matty John show after the game, I think it was, and he just described, like, the Munster just turning around and kick to Fox in the corner as a cheat code. And it is, like, when nothing's on or they're struggling to gain any sort of inroads in attack, like, I think it was a try in this game, and Munster just stopped on a dime, he was going right, turned around because nothing was on. I shouldn't say that, it was probably pre-planned, and he goes, Xavier's there, he's deep, he's running onto it, kick to him, try, easy as it comes, like out of nothing.
Yeah.
And they do it all the time.
Yeah, and like you got Katoa on the other side that you got to worry about. He's so good, and I think that he's really worked on his carries as well. I think that was probably, when he did have his good year a couple of years ago, if there was one knock, it was like, does he get through enough work for a modern winger? Definitely gets through enough work now.
That's the one on the Lomax v Coates sort of Australian debate where I go, the yardage of what Lomax does out of his own end and the dirty stuff, which isn't probably the strength of Coates' game, but it has gotten a lot better in recent years.
Yeah.
So that's where it's tight.
Yeah, super tight. I think the thing hurting Lomax at the moment is just form's dropped off a little bit. To be honest, I think that, Origin 3 just rattled him a
Even
little
then,
bit.
you put it this way, and I know Parramatta have vastly improved, but imagine what Zach Lomax would be doing for the Melbourne Storm right now.
Fair, that's fair. That is fair. So listen, really solid game from the Storm, and right now, if anything less than a prelim / probably grand final is going to be a super disappointing year for them because they're red hot. Like
it's winning the comp for the Melbourne Storm, mate. With this team, seriously.
Yeah, I just think of like how hard it is to win a comp. Like everything has to go right. They've lost Hughes. If Hughes is back, geez, anything less than a grand final, I think.
Well, he's back. I think round 27, sort of first week of finals.
Jeez. Wow.
Is 280 fair, you think, for them to win the comp? Do you think they should be that short?
Not that short.
Yeah.
But I think they should be. I think they should be favourites
over the
but
Panthers?
not that short.
Yeah.
Just because.
$4.
Man, Penrith, Jesus Christ, top 4 is crazy. So really, really good performance from the Storm. Just trying to.
Just before we move off them as well, notice in about the 50th minute, they took Sean Bloor off the field. He had an error. I think he gave away a penalty. I think he had a few missed tackles. I don't think there was an injury there or anything. I just wonder if that's a little wake-up call for him leading into finals.
Yeah, tactical kind of thing.
He's played 80 minutes just about. He's played like 77 to 80 minutes every game this year. I just wonder if it might just be a little kick up the butt before finals.
Yeah, because he's actually been quite good before.
Been great.
Yeah. Yeah, or maybe you could argue plan, resting him, give him... Potentially. Interesting to see what happens next week with his time. So, look, really, really good stuff from the Melbourne Storm. I can't really fault them that much, as I said, other than, maybe there was 10 minutes where I felt like they kind of fell back into their, we know we're going to win this game, so we'll just go on cruise control. But outside of that, outstanding. Defence was good, grit was good, toughness was good. On to the Brizzy Broncos.
Melbourne played Penrith Thursday night.
Oh my God.
The sketch.
Just Thursday and then also Friday is looking like a red hot night of Friday games. The late one is Roosters Dogs, Warriors. Actually, the first one's not that good. Warriors Dragons, but Thursday night, Friday night, 8 o'clock. Very good games.
So Melbourne are $2.80 to win the comp. Penrith are at $4.
Yeah.
And then Penrith are $1.80 this week against Melbourne at $2. Ooh. Obviously no huge in long term, but
Isn't that interesting? Jeez. Okay. The
and
bookies
it's
got
up
it
here
wrong.
in Sydney, but so will a grand
Yeah.
final if they
Yep.
play.
Yeah. Okay, now on to the Brisbane Broncos. Although I said I thought they were brave, they absolutely were. And, they lost their 2 players. They did have decent players to cover, obviously. But the one area where they were poor in is the second half, just completion rate. And look, I'm not willing to go, it's because they were chasing the game, because this has been a problem for them all year long. They just got to find a way just to rein it in when they just build pressure. Just build some pressure. They just, for some reason, too many players in key positions just can't help themselves when it comes to a play that they, a 50-50 they might be able to get. And I think that, Walshy's probably going to have to make a decision about what kind of player he is. I think that, up until this point, he's gotten away with just being this attacking absolute juggernaut. And it's worked so far. But I think that going forward, if you're going to have a club built around you, because let's be real, that's what's happening. It's getting built around Reece Walsh. You have to play 8 out of 10 every single week. If you're getting paid $1.2 million or $1 million, you can't afford to go 10 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 6 out of 10. And he's just got to find a way to just calm his mind a little bit, because and look, what makes him so great also holds him back too. The reason why he can do these crazy plays is because he gets so energized and high to do them, he just does them. But also it can come back and bite him. So I just think that he needs to find a way. It's actually not on the field, I think off the field. Find a way to go into games with just a really calm mindset. Now, I don't want to take away what makes him great, but I just think there's too many times where he's too impulsive. Like, he just sees it and he goes, boom. Instead of going, what tackle is it? Where am I? Like, what do I need to do here? Have I told anyone that I'm about to kick? Just all that kind of stuff.
It's hard though, isn't it? Like, when you are going to a grand final, he's Mr. Impulsive. Just like, I love when he does it, but long term, you do have your concerns about it.
It's just like, how can we still have that, but just a bit more conservative at times? Because it's going to be super tough to kind of build a season around that.
It's interesting, and you'd know far more than I would, Cammy, but on all reports, like, he's just a real student of the game, Reece Walsh. Like, lives it, breathes it, loves his footy.
Yeah.
Which, a lot of people probably wouldn't think that about Reece Walsh. But, so, like, he's there and he'll put himself in the position to learn and get the best out of himself that he can. It's hard. Like, I don't know what his relationship with, like, a Billy Slater is, but obviously being around Queensland camp and all these sorts of things, you'd imagine probably pretty good.
Yeah.
I'd just be, if Billy's in a position to do it, just leaning into Billy Slater and just talking to him frequently and saying, mate, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? Because what a better mentor to have if that's something that he can line up. Because you're right, you don't take the spark out of his game, but at the same time, even this season, you look at them and go, all right, can they win a comp? It's looking far less likely now, but potentially at their best, they're now probably going to miss the 4. We're going to have to win 4 on the trot. Reece Walsh can't afford to have one of the big down weeks come finals time because they can't afford to lose a game.
Yeah. And I will say, it's not just Walsh's fault. I do think that the Broncos as a team just look to him to get them out of trouble all the time.
They do.
And they've almost pressured him into that situation. Don't get me wrong, he also plays like that. But I think that it's a mixture of both. Walshy and the team just going, you know what, you're the only one that can get us out of this, and just give him the ball.
And it was the same at the Warriors when he debuted. Like, he debuted, and the week after it was give the ball to Ryan Walsh. See what he can create.
Yeah, so it's like as I said, it's not just all on Walshy, and he's still super young. I've got 100% faith he will find that balance. But it's just, it's got to come relatively
That's
soon.
the other thing. Like, he's 23 years old, which isn't super young, but it's still, like, I think what the Panthers have done over the last few years at their ages has kind of skewed our expectations a little bit of these guys. Like, he's still got potentially 12 years of first grade.
Well, you look at Nathan Cleary. I think it was 22 when he went to his first grand final. I think so. So like that's Nathan Cleary.
Yeah.
Like, Reece Walsh's ceiling is if he can control all this and the flamboyant style of footy with the grindier, more conservative stuff, is the best player in the NRL. Like, that's what he can achieve. I'm not saying he will, but he has the ability to do so.
And I just think probably in defence too, fitness-wise, he just needs to... I felt at the start of the season he was actually quite good in defence. Just needs to, get across the ground a little bit more. When you look at like Edwards and Tedesco, and I know he's not exactly the same as them, but even Billy Slater, like, they just get across the ground quite a bit. Now, in regards to... another thing is I just think that the Broncos are desperate for back rowers. I think that, like... Jazeski, unfortunately, like, it's been a real Cinderella story, and I'm stoked that he got some first grade games this year, and he might get some more. But he had 2 errors again on the weekend. First run, drops a ball. I'm pretty sure it was 2 errors, and just like, it's just too often with Jazeski. I thought Jaden Hunt was pretty good in defence, but he just doesn't offer much in attack. Jordan Ricky had a good first half, but then the grab on little Pappenhausen rather than just chopping him. Just like with Ricky, if he could just get the lack of concentration, he had, like, most games he has like 1 or 2 times where it's like he just stops thinking. If he could just get rid of that, he'd be great. He works hard. He's got a great kick chase. He's strong in contact. When he makes the right read, he's good in defence. But just these lapses of concentration really hurt him. And
that's the thing, mate. Like, your edge depth for the Broncos, it was the issue coming into the season. Like, it was clear as daylight. But your locked-in 80-minute back row was meant to be Jordan Ricky, and it's all good and well last week when you put 60 on the Bunnies, who essentially ran out there on Massey Cup side, and you can beat the chest and all that and be happy and get up and about. That's fine. Like, you're allowed to celebrate games like that, as you should. But then he comes out a week later and he misses a very simple one-on-one with Ryan Pappenhausen where it's either slap the arm down, go for the legs. Like, you can't be missing that tackle. Yeah. He was in a position to do so. I know Pappy's quick, I get that, but Jordan Ricky was in a position to make that tackle, and it's like, last week to this week were worlds apart, and you can't afford to do that.
Yeah, and he's a senior player now, essentially. Like, I know he's not that old. And I wouldn't, like, listen, if I didn't think he had the talent, I wouldn't even bother speaking about him. I would just be like, we need back rowers or whatever. But he definitely has the talent, and he has games where he's just great. He's just got to find just the lacks of concentration. lack of concentration where it just slips out of, like, for example, even the Harry Grant pass to Coates where he scored, that was because, so Munster got a quick play the ball because Ricky fell over the tackle of Munster. And it's just like little things like that, little tiny, where you just stop thinking and you think it's going to be an easy tackle. And it's Munster. You should be thinking it's never an easy tackle with Munster. So, you know, and look, it wasn't just him. It was a 61% completion rate. So I'm not just saying him. I thought Haas was absolutely, you know, monumental. I challenge you to find a forward that, even if they're getting absolutely dominated, can dominate an opposing forward pack by himself. Like, it literally never happens. He does it all the time. Just incredible.
Just on your back rowers too, before we move on, like, isn't it just wild that Brisbane don't have back rowers? Like, you even have a look at, like, if you have a look at the Dolphins, mass injuries there, but, you know, Oren Keeley gets thrown in there.
Yeah.
He's done a job this year. He stood up and he's done a job. Like, even at the Titans, Chris Randall's done an amazing job there. It's crazy that in a Broncos squad you can't find 2 back rowers.
Well, I think that, you know, really the long-term plan was Ricky and Piakora.
Yep.
And it just, like, Ricky's been solid. Piakora hasn't really kicked on the way we thought he would. And we did mention at the time, I just think they let Capewell go at least a year too early. I reckon if they had kept Capewell for another year, they probably would have said, oh, hang on a sec, like, we aren't ready to lose this guy, and they probably would have kept him another 2 years.
The other big loss in that too, in hindsight obviously, but Zach Hosking.
Yeah, massive loss. Yeah,
true.
Oh, man. Jesus Christ. What about the Broncos, mate? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think you've covered off probably on most of the ones that really ripped in. I'm with you. Payne Haas, just incredible how he can, doesn't matter how bad they're going, how bad they're losing, he can still be one of the most dominant players on the field. Thought he was really good. Selwyn, up until he got injured, I thought that was so cruel. I thought, since he's come back, really, I think he's been really, really outstanding for the Broncos as well. Yeah, they're probably the two that, you know, Paddy Carrigan, not too bad as well. But, you know, tough to, just because it was so many guys went down injured and, you know, they got done by a team that's just going so well. Tough to really take too much away from them.
If I'm Brisbane, a lot of rumours that Scott Sorensen could be joining Perth. Jeez, I'd be making that phone call.
Oh, mate,
He'd
absolutely.
be perfect for you.
Absolutely. He'd be so
And you
good.
could still keep Ricky on the right, where you could have Ricky and Pegura fighting out for the right edge and just put Sorensen on the left edge, make an enormous difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll be interested to see what kind of player Madge does sign. It'd be interesting to see, you know, it'd be so different to, you know, the last 10 years or whatever, because Madge is such a different coach to what we've had. The recruitment strategy is going to be super interesting. So, yeah, brave effort from the Broncos. You know, I think that they, outside of obviously the little concerns with the completion rate and everything like that, I thought they were super brave. They hung in there. So, as I said, all in all, I was happy with their performance. And in regards to that crazy tackle from Selwyn Cobbo, like, I just can't believe he got there. Like, he is a big, big boy. He's a big bit of gear. And I just think that with the Dolphins, it's going to be interesting because Selwyn actually said, who knows, I might actually come back to the Broncos. And so, you know, obviously as the Dolphins, you don't want to hear that. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Selwyn, because it seems like he is comfortable and likes the Broncos. It seems like he's reacted to Michael Maguire, which is a good thing. I think that, I will say, I want to give Selwyn a lot of credit, because I think that a lot of people assumed he would put his head down and kick rocks if he got dropped, because, you know, I'm Selwyn Cobbo, I'm a star, I shouldn't get dropped. He hasn't done that, and I think he deserves a bit of credit for that, because he's come back and he's been outstanding. Okay. Next game is the Panthers blow out the Knights 48-12. Wow. Holy moly. This was the Penrith Panthers back in action. This was the Penrith Panthers just like absolutely strangling a team to death. This was classic Penrith Panthers footy. I can't believe it. They did without Isaiah Yeo. You know, Nathan Cleary's 40-20 in the first bloody 30 minutes or whatever. The VB hard-earned index, they were winning, and yet they still had every single player in the VB hard-earned index top 5. But they were winning. Craziness. They just strangled the life out of the Knights. And it's going to sound bizarre, but I actually thought the Knights were quite brave. They're just nowhere near as good as the Panthers. I know it sounds bizarre because I got towed up, but if you actually watched that game, they were essentially on their they barely got, I think it was like 50-1 or something, 42-1. At 50 minutes, it was 42 tackles in the Knights red zone, 1 tackle in the Panthers red zone. So that's what I mean, like, as I said, they got tailed up, but I actually thought they were brave because that's outrageous, bro. That is outrageous.
Just Penrith back to their best in attack, just the relentless different angles
Oh
that they
my
come at you
God.
at. Like, they just had Newcastle on the rope. And yeah, I agree with you. They were brave, but they just had them on the ropes the entire time. Like, the Panthers, as we get closer and closer to finals footy, no shock to fucking anyone, they're just starting to go up gears and gears and gears.
I can't believe it. I said they can't make the finals. I said they were done at around, was it 10 when they were last? It was around 10 when they were last? 12 they were last. And I was like, nah, I think they're done. I just don't think that they can develop these young guys quick enough. My God. Why did I ever doubt them? Absolute idiot. Team that's won 4 premierships. If there's one team that can develop these juniors quick and fast enough, it is the Penrith Panthers. An outstanding performance on the weekend. It really was great. And I've got to say, geez, Lindsay Smith, it was almost like watching Isaiah Yeo out there. Like, he just played that role perfectly. I don't mind Isaiah Papali'i in the middle there. I've always felt like at the Panthers he would suit the middle more than the edge. But yeah, just an outstanding performance.
Just Luke Garner was good too.
See, he's a guy that when they were talking about him going somewhere else, that's a guy at the Broncos I would be like,
in a heartbeat. Like
100%.
The back row depth at Penrith is just a joke, and for what it's worth, like, a lot of it hasn't necessarily been developing themselves. It's been recruiting, but they're recruiting back rowers who aren't getting a lot of opportunities at other clubs, like Zach Hosking, like Luke Garner, who weren't getting great minutes elsewhere. Like Liam Martin, Scott Sorensen, Luke Garner, as in Isaiah Papali'i, who was a superstar on the edge a few years ago, has become more of a middle for them now. But if I'm the Brisbane Broncos, like Guru, you mentioned Sorensen, but Garner's the one to me, because I think Ivan Cleary came out and said something along the lines of, we want to re-sign Luke Garner, but we're just struggling for cap space or something around the squad makeup. But the Brisbane Broncos, like Luke Garner, perfect.
Like, covers centre as well. I think he suits Madge's kind of coaching as well. But yeah, in regards to this performance, like, they completed 44 out of 50 sets. 50 sets they had. Adam O'Brien said he's never seen 50 sets. It's just, mate, as I said, I just think that this was a clear example of just how much better the Panthers are than the Knights, rather than the Knights. You know, yeah, you could look at a few things they did wrong, but as I said, I thought they worked really hard. They just were so much worse.
There was driving rain for this one too, wasn't there? Like, there was for a lot of the games, and they completed 88% in those conditions.
It's just mental.
Seriously.
It's one of the few times this year I've just sat there and gone, Adam O'Brien, you poor bastard.
Yeah, like I couldn't. What is he supposed to do
The
there?
biggest mistake was showing up to this.
Yeah, mate. Seriously. And you know, they were like, you know, I understand why they would come out with a point to prove with everything that happened last week. Like, you know, they would care for the trainer, all the negative chat around him. They want to send a message to the competition that, like, you know, we don't win games just because trainers run in front of kicks or whatever. So I understand that. So outstanding performance. I will say we've got to change 2 things. Kick pressure has to change. Like, we're getting to a point where basically the kicker, you just got to let him kick. It's getting ridiculous. Like, it'll change our game so much. Maybe I'm being dramatic, but it might get to the point where people will be in the side. If they can defend good but have a crazy kicking game, they'll just be there to kick, just to kick them around the park, because you can't even touch them anymore. And it's shit. Like, I'm not asking for players to just jam blokes and tackle them in the air or whatever. I just think it needs to change and be a bit more realistic. And also, if you're on your line, you should be able to tackle someone in the air. Now, listen, if you take someone's legs out or something like that, then obviously that's a penalty, and maybe even make it a sin bin, I don't know. But if you're going up and you're going for the catch and then you wrap a ball up, you should be able to do that in your line. Otherwise, what do you go up and you just let them score? Okay, no worries.
It's awful.
It's terrible.
It's awful, and like it's not helping the game in any way, shape or form. And so we're only seeing, like, when teams get better and better and better at manipulating it, it's going to become super problematic. And I think it's potentially as simple as not every flick of the leg is equal. And like the fact that you touch them on the leg or flick their big toe and it's a penalty, and, you know, potentially face weeks for it because you touched them, and I know some people love just black and white objective sort of stuff, but make it subjective and, you know, judge each case on its merits. And if a defensive player attacking the kicker does it in a dangerous manner, sin bin him, send him off, whatever. I don't care. Like, give him, like, drop the full letter of the law, give him 4 or 5 weeks if it's bad enough. but don't make them all the same because they're not all the same.
I know. Like, for example, the one on Cleary, he hit him before he kicked the ball and he got penalised against it. And it's like, hang on a sec. He hadn't kicked the ball yet. He is fair game and he got penalised for it.
And if they do that and make it a little bit more like based on the discretion of the referee, and early on someone does put a kicker in a dangerous position and they get sent off and 4 weeks or whatever, people are going to stop doing it. Like, it's not going to be an open slather of hitting kickers or anything.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my little bitch and moan. In regards to performance, I mean, to be honest, like, name me a Panthers player that didn't play well. They were just clinical. To'o back to his best, 3 line breaks, 243 metres. Tungo, hasn't he just quietly just kind of got back to where he was a couple of years ago now I know in the final series he put it all together last year, but Ivan has showed a lot of faith in Isaac Tungo, and I think that it's faith that's being repaid right now because I think he's been outstanding the last few weeks.
There's a few guys that, like, even Casey McLean, like, we're all wrapping him deluxe at the moment. Mate, after 4 or 5 weeks, I couldn't have picked him.
Yeah, mate, 100%.
He's come on so far, like both of those centres. Like, to think that Paul Alamoti's still not in this side is mind-blowing to me. But, who can you drop?
Yeah, it's craziness. And like then you mentioned Blaze Talangi. Like, he was outstanding on the weekend. And what I actually like about Blaze is like, yeah, okay, would he suit fullback better? Maybe. But he does actually offer quite a unique problem for defences because he doesn't run and pass like a normal 5'8". Everything looks a bit uncomfortable to a degree, and that actually would be a bit hard to because he's not running the normal lines. Sometimes he just runs hard overs, but because he hits the ball at speed, he doesn't give time for the defence to think about anything. And so it actually, like, you know, long term, it might suit him better to be there because he's doing things that, like in footy, you get in a kind of rhythm. You know, every play's the same, speed, timing's the same. Whereas if you've got a guy like Blaze Talangi, who is essentially off the cuff playing whatever he wants most times, like, that's a dangerous combination because, like, you've got Cleary, really conservative but also a good attacking player. Blaze Talangi attacks his main weapon. So you pair those two together and you could argue there's not a better combination in regards to type of players.
And I love that, like, even a few weeks ago when they were dead last, that Ivan just kept leaning into it.
Yep. Yeah.
There was a lot of experts you were hearing talking about it saying, make a change or change the way that he goes about things. He just kept leaning into it.
Yeah, I was one of them. I was like, I think he needs some time in New South Wales Cup.
And he's not only leaning into him, like, he's the chief playmaker in attacking territory at different stages. Obviously not all the time, it's an eighth, but, you know, the biggest challenge for teams trying to go back-to-back in competitions is that, you know, after a year of it, opposition, they do enough study on you that they work out players' games and teams' games, and you have to freshen up in some way, shape or form. And Ivan has done that with the Panthers in different sort of ways each year. And now losing Jerome Luai, I sort of expected Blaze to probably go in there and have a bit more of an attacking licence than Jerome had. Like, Jerome Luai was an absolute foil to Nathan Cleary. That's not a knock on Jerome Luai. He just played his role perfectly, which we've spoken about time and time again. But they have lent into Blaze Talangi and said at different times, no, like, it's about Cleary putting you in good spaces to throw that final pass or put that final kick in behind the line or whatever it might be. So all of a sudden, teams preparing for, you know, it's all Nathan Cleary in this team, and then Luai plays around him, Dylan Edwards plays around him. Now they've just got another unbelievable ball playing half on the other side of the field, and they're getting new shapes thrown at them. It's like, how do we prepare for this?
Yeah, crazy. Well, on the weekend, 2 try assists compared to Cleary's 1, but here's his stats. 17 runs, 172 metres, 55 post contact to tackle break, 2 line break assists, an offload, 15 tackles, only 2 misses. Like, that is unbelievable for a 5'8". Unbelievable. And we're talking about, what is he, 19? 20? Just crazy.
Yeah.
The ceiling on this kid is honestly whatever he wants.
Yeah, he's unreal. He's had such a great, and definitely really settled into his work as the years gone on. At the start, it was a little bit, with like a lot of these guys, a little bit raw and wasn't quite working out, but he's humming at the moment. Another guy, Tom Jenkins, at the start of the season. If you had told me at the start of the season, he would be running basically the same metres, same post contacts as Brian To'o in a game, I would have said you're crazy. 231 metres he had on the weekend. To'o had 243. Jenkins had 70 post contacts, To'o had 74. So to have that kind of consistency, through your back three, obviously Dill Edwards just does the business every week as well. the development of Tom Jenkins has been incredible. Given the fact that Alamotti last year was arguably the best player in their back line, he's keeping him out of a spot now and doing so well.
I think Jenkins is like, if you wanted a pure raw example of how strong the Penrith Panthers development is, just look at Jenkins. Like a guy that was essentially in the wilderness for rugby league, gets a train and trial, is now probably form-wise this year has been a top 5 winger. Or maybe I'll say top 8. That's how good he's been. And so that just shows you, like we've pointed out Casey McLean, Blaise Solangi, but they always had this talent to do something great. That was always going to happen. Whereas a guy like Jenkins, like, again, it just shows you that this Panthers system now, Storm has done it for a longer period of time. But if you were just to look at the last few years, like Penrith have been just as good at developing, arguably better than the Storm, which is a hard thing to do. Their development is unbelievable.
And without taking anything away from him, like you once again just have to give so much credit to Brian Tyler because that's now the second year in a row. Taruva was on the other wing last year.
Yeah.
Ran for these unbelievable huge metres. Like if you have a look at his average now at the Tigers, it's dropped by about 20 metres or so. And his games at fullback, he's averaging about 40 or 50 more metres than when he's on the wing. Like if you have a look at those stats from the weekend, kick return metres, Jenkins at 95, Tyler's at 38. Once again, no one wants to kick the football to him.
Mate, it's insane. Absolutely insane. Like, we'll never, I mean, maybe one day we will, but I don't think for a long time we won't see a better meter eater.
I think it's going to be hard to find a better meter eater over a longer period of time. Like, that's now half a decade he's done this for, which is great. Like, his body should be in pieces.
It should be, 100%. He should be falling apart.
2 weeks ago. They'll rest Brian Tyler, surely. Nope.
Oh, crazy.
230 run meters, and we're talking about Tom Jenkins.
Mental. Yeah. Right. It's absolutely mental. Ivan Cleary, just who would have thought, you know, and obviously he was a young gun coach going to the Warriors, got him to a grand final. But I just shows you that you just don't know what path is going to lead to what. You know what I mean?
He was a young gun coach, but it wasn't all roses.
No way it wasn't all roses.
There's a lot of negative things you heard about.
Yeah. I mean, there's a period there was like he was seen as just an average coach. Even the first year back at the Panthers, he nearly gave it away. What he's managed to do, I'd love to know, like, when was the moment? Like, what did he do in his life that changed him from that year to this year? Surely there's something.
What's Nate's birthday?
Yeah.
No, that's unfair.
Okay, the Knights. Look, I thought Brayley had a bit of impact in the second half. I thought he came on and was running out of dummy half quite well. He made 68 tackles, which is insane.
Brayley went 80.
Yeah. I just thought that in the second half when they needed some kind of spark, it was basically around Brayley. Outside of that, like it's, you know, I will say Jermaine McQueen, you've shouted out before. McEwen, sorry.
Yeah.
He looks like a bloody good player. Really strong in contact. And I'm really interested to see how he develops. I think you're right, Roo. He's not bad.
I think his sister scored for the Knights NRLW on the weekend too. I don't know if that's a first brother and sister in women's and men's crossed. But yeah, I think Kai Pearce-Ball is going to be a big loss for them, but I think McEwen's going to step into that role and be fine. I think him and Dylan Lucas are going to cause some chaos on those edges. Yeah,
at the moment. So on the weekend, he had a try, 159 metres, 53 post contact, 3 tackle breaks. 33 tackles, only 2 misses. Had a couple of errors, but rookie, that's expected. I think he's got a big future.
I think it's the second time he's played 80 minutes. The last 3 weeks he's gone 80, 65, 80, and they've played Warriors, Raiders, Panthers last 3 weeks. Yeah. If you have a look at the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks, they've gone Raiders, Storm, Wars, Raiders, Panthers. Fucking brutal.
Yeah, I mean maybe it was to get Penrith at this stage after all those games.
Geordie Rapana's sister Tasman Gray scored 7 tries. So I can
have to line that
her
up.
and Geordie surely align at some point.
Surely. I know we speak about it every week, but was Gamble and who else got left out?
Halves
Gamble?
for Carp. I know you're going to say.
Yeah, did they play?
Well, Gamble and Hastings. Yeah. And they brought Arthur in to partner Cogger.
Can someone please explain to me why bringing Arthur in, what that does for anyone?
What?
I watched him play about 2 weeks ago. He looked good, and it still doesn't make any sense to me. It's bizarre. Yeah.
Like, how can you just honestly? When I saw the team sheet, I was like, is he taking the piss? Like, there's been so much talk about the chopping and changing, and then you bring Jake Arthur in when you've got Hastings and Gamble just sitting there in a game against the Penrith Panthers.
But even, mate, it's just like, firstly, Jake Arthur going, cool, this is the game you pull me up for.
Awesome.
Penrith, who haven't lost in about 2.5 months in the pouring rain, like, cool, this will be fun. And then Jaden Brayley, who's going to the Raiders next year, plays 80 minutes through the middle at night. Like, I think, is it Matt Arthur, the other, like one of the backup hooker options and potentially future? I think he's injured, or at least he wasn't named in New South Wales Cup. And then Phoenix Crossland, who was played 9, went to 13. I just compare sort of the Knights and the Eels, where Jason Ryles so evidently early on said, what, this is a transition phase when we're doing this. The Knights weren't in a position to do that because they would have been going, no, we can play finals footy and maybe make a bit of a run of this. But when they weren't going to make the 8, when all these injuries happened, it just doesn't look to me like they're making moves and putting plans in place for next year. Like, even they've got Dane Gagai playing fullback, who firstly has been exceptional, and Dane Gagai's ball playing has really surprised me. Like, he's had 7 line break assists in his 4 games at fullback, but is it kind of a Tano, like you keep rapping, Roo? They're not playing finals. Give him a crack, like, because surely Dane Gagai's not the go-to fullback next year when Sharp's out or Ponga's out. It doesn't look like they're doing any planning for next year when they probably should be.
Vitano played fullback in Cup on the weekend too.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Adam O'Brien has never been a good team selector. Like, you know, I've always been like, why did you do that? Why'd you do that?
On top of that, Jaden Brayley's not going to be there next year. Who's going to be your hooker? Crossland, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what I mean. I don't get, like, Adam O'Brien's done some great things at the Knights, so he deserves credit for that, absolutely. But maybe these last couple of years, at least, maybe initially he was really good, but like the fact that he's bringing in Arthurs against the Penrith Panthers, like, it doesn't even help Jake Arthur.
No.
Like, in what world was Jake Arthur going to kill the Penrith Panthers? Why wouldn't you just go pure defence and put Gamble there and just go, Gamble, I need you to defend your ass off? Just, mate, bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. Are you telling me that he's better than Hastings? Like, and also Hastings has already played first grade, so that idea that, like, he's out in the wilderness and they're not going to play him at all, that's done.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's their 11th halves combo for the season that they've gone through.
This year?
Yeah. I don't know what the record is, but they'd have to be in the conversation.
That's not injuries either. Like, that's...
Yeah. They're only a win clear of the Gold Coast Titans. They got a points differential of 3 points better than the Titans. They could still win the Spoon as well. Every game that they've got on the way home is against the team above them on the ladder. The Titans, you know, you never know which Titans are going to turn up. They could fluke a win somewhere along the way. So, you know, they're $2.80 to win the Spoon, but they could still win it. The Newcastle Knights.
Even like if you're Jake Arthur, and Jake Arthur's not sitting here going, don't pick me because I want an easy game.
Yeah.
Not a chance. But that's where it comes down to the coach say, they're playing the Cowboys in Townsville this week. If you want to give him a run and he's been working his ass off at training and being good in cup, whatever, I haven't been following him, pick him for the Townsville game.
Surely you're picking for the Townsville game. Anyway, Adam O'Brien, does he see out next year? As in, does he start next year, sorry?
He wouldn't be if I was in charge.
I've no idea. Who comes in? Like, there's just not a lot out there.
Yeah, it's a mess. I feel like, you know, given that they've signed Dill Brown, I feel like he was a big part of getting him there. True. Yeah, because they've invested so much in Dill Brown, you then have to give him a crack at what the team looks like with Dill Brown there? You know, maybe that's the tail wagging the dog a little bit, but I think you're probably going to give
I think the answer lies in, and something we're not going to know about, but has he lost the dressing room at all? Like, if the players are willing to buy into him, and look, they certainly have defensively this year. Like, they've shown some ticker. The attack hasn't quite been there for the most part. But if the players want him there, and it doesn't all come down to the players, but they're happy and it's a united group, I'm like, okay, he's played a lot of finals. There isn't a lot out there. Let's persist with him for next year. As you said, Hammy, he's got Dill Brown coming. But if there is a disconnect between him and the players and there's a lot of rumblings going on internally, well, that's where I go, we need to move on.
It's like next year they lose Leo Thompson.
Like that's the one reason in my mind, and maybe I'm overthinking it, where I consider keeping him. Because if you bring Dill Brown to town with a new coach and it goes to complete shit, what change are you going to make? You're going to suck a new coach a year in. At least if Adam O'Brien's there, then you can maybe go, okay,
Yeah, we'll get him
maybe
in.
this is the problem. It's not Dill Brown. Like, Dill Brown's going to be here for 9 more fucking years. You're going to hate him on day 2.
Jeez, like that signing. I reckon there are some nights people going, like as in
Some nights, people.
I was up
like,
there last
as in-
weekend. It's more than some, yeah.
no, like as in the people that actually did the deal. Surely they've gone like,
For that reason, I keep Adam O'Brien around.
yeah, to protect yourself with that decision.
Fucking hell, to protect Dill Brown too. I think.
Yeah. And like this is coming from, I think Dill Brown's outstanding. I think on his day, he's had seasons where he's been one of the better 5'8s, but 10 years, jeez.
And just to make it even better, they're going to launch Dill Brown's career in Las Vegas. Over there.
How good. Oh, rugby league, it always delivers. Alrighty, it's the Raiders defeating the Sea Eagles. Brought to you by Squarespace. Join the Bloke Club to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Look, Manly came out absolutely firing, and you're going, oh, okay, here we go. This is the Manly Seagulls that we all kind of know can play this type of footy. And then, yeah, the Raiders just went, nah, I don't think so. Just basically dominated the rest of the game. Good for the Raiders that they kept them to 12, I will say. I still want to see a little bit more from the Raiders in regards to, whether it's a bad start or a bad finish. I just want to see an 80-minute performance from the Raiders, but it was still a good, solid performance from the Raiders, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I said the same thing last week. You just want to see an 80-minute performance from them, but that's also nitpicking because they're at the top, I think. Like, I'm not talking about the Raiders performing week to week. I'm talking if they want to win a comp, I think on grand final rate, they're going to have to put together an entire 80 minutes. But as I said, it is probably looking for something to talk about with the Raiders a little bit.
I just thought I was super impressed. They were just patient. They when Kohler scored just after half time and they think they might have taken a lead or been level or something like that, and you go, oh, like, boys, don't panic. Don't feel like you need to throw the ball around. Like, you've got the better forward pack. Just work your way into it. And they did, and they ended up running out, winning 13 plus in the game and closing the game out pretty convincingly. So I just love, the patience that they showed in the game and didn't feel the need to chase points or play too flamboyantly. I thought it was a great showing.
And I will say as well, like, Manly weren't bad. Like,
No, not
so
at
it's
all.
not like, I know they're not in the top 8 currently, but like, they're a tough, they're a tough side. They're not at their best. They're absolutely a top 8 side. So, I just so with the Raiders, like, do you reckon it was an 80-minute performance or?
No, it wasn't an 80-minute performance. Like, they're even like just getting caught off guard early with that Tommy Turbo try, Kohler down the edge, but it's hard these days to put in an 80-minute performance. Like, I think, Roo, you make a good point when you say, like, it is nitpicking a little bit. Like, how many genuine 80-minute performances do we see in the NRL these days, especially in round 23 kind of thing?
Really
like,
only the Panthers.
Yeah. And Penrith are like, and have been for 5 years, the exception to the rule. So
Yeah.
And I think that's why, Raiders are one of the few teams we'd say that about because, for them to achieve what they've set out this year, they're going to have to beat Penrith.
Yeah.
On grand final day or in a prelim, and they're going to have to
Yeah.
do that.
And I'm talking, every time I talk about the Raiders, I'm talking about winning the comp. I'm not talking about happy to be
they're in
there.
that
Stuff.
category.
Yeah, for sure. What you say, Timmy?
Yeah, just like that's it, because we are leading the comp and you need 80-minute performances and this and that, but at the end of the day, we're not the Penrith Panthers. We're nowhere near Penrith Panthers at their peak when they do put in these week after week 80-minute performances. Like, again, we were favourites to win the wooden spoon at the start of the year or have the least wins or whatever. And yeah, we can't compare ourselves to the Penrith Panthers of past years. But again, Drew's point, if we're going to win the comp, we're probably going to have to beat the Penrith Panthers. So come finals time, we're going to need an 80-minute performance or something bloody close to it. But for round 23 and a cold night in Canberra, great outing.
I think as well, coming off a loss last week, like especially with a bye coming next week, if they would have had 2 losses coming into that bye, makes it a long month all of a sudden. So I just think they had to win this game.
Now, we're back in the fair dinkum department. Where do you think, where would you be happy with at the minimum for them to finish? Would it be prelim? Like, if they make a prelim and lose, would you be like, good year? What's a good year for you?
obviously right now, not from what expectations were earlier.
Yeah, not from
From right
earlier.
now, I want to make a grand final.
Okay.
But
would you be, like, let's say you're losing a prelim to Panthers or something like that?
I'd be disappointed. Like when
okay.
you look at the years and overarching the entire season, you go, oh, fantastic season to come from where the expectation was at the start of the year and how early we are on in this, push for a premiership. Fantastic year, but you're asking me right now, we're leading the comp, we're playing awesome footy. Touch wood, we've had a pretty good run of injuries compared to a lot of clubs. Anything less than grand final, I'll absolutely be disappointed.
Yeah.
I tend to agree because they'll have 2 games in Canberra, I think. If they win week 1 in Canberra, then they have 2 weeks to prepare for another game in Canberra. I'd be disappointed as a Raiders fan if we lost that game.
Okay, what do you reckon, Hammy?
Yeah, I reckon given where they are now and given how they're going, they've got a very good chance to win the comp this year. And I also think you have to win it this year because you're losing Fogarty next year and, you're going to have a change in halfback. The window is now to win it.
No, I disagree. I think the way Ricky Stewart is playing his team around our youth and putting young blokes in the spine, he wasn't... I'd be stunned if he was sitting there going, let's win a comp this year. Maybe he was, but I think he was thinking 2026, 2020, probably literally more 2027 and getting experience in this rookie spine. Weak, strange, so many young fellas. Owen Paddy coming through. So there is a window now that has opened up prematurely. I think the window, the way we're going with players signed long term is the next 3-4 years.
I would agree going to be there and thereabouts the next couple of years, but I think if you don't win it this year, you're not going to win it next year with a new number 7 in particular steering the ship around.
Yeah, I tend to lean to your side.
So I think win it still 27, 28, whatever, I think you'll still be a good top 4 team, but I think you have to win it this year. I don't think you win a comp next year.
Now, I hate to be a Debbie Downer. Shout out mum. Do they have enough finals footy experience?
It's the big question.
So we've seen a bunch of teams get to finals footy and get beaten in the...
That's where I think if they play 2 games in Canberra in 3 weeks, I think they can overcome it there. That's why, for me, it's a disappointment if they're not going through.
What do you reckon, Timmy?
Just going through our pack, like Papali'i, Tarpany, yep, Hudson, give or take, he's played enough finals footy. Zach Hosking probably hasn't played a lot. Corey Horsburgh, he's played a little bit. So, I mean, the spine's probably the big one. Like, I think a pack has enough experience, but Strange, Fogarty, even like Jamal Fogarty probably hasn't played a lot of finals footy, has he? I think he'll handle the occasion, but Kayo weak. So, yeah.
Savage.
I think the one counter to that is that the Raiders have been playing finals footy for almost 2 or 3 years. The style that they play, which I think helps them, but September is a different beast.
See, I think your forward pack's fine. Like
Senior players have, yeah.
Yeah, like I think your forward pack, because they play finals type footy all the time, which is really physical, and they want to dominate the opposition, that's what you need to do in a finals game.
Backline.
Biggest question is the backline, because you know what's going to happen? Kayo Weeks is getting about 1 million torpedo bombs, 1 million of them, and then Savage, I'm kicking across to you every single set.
It might be the first time in 30 weeks you go, Mr. Rapana.
The great,
which is crazy. Full credit to the Raiders. I haven't thought that at any point this year. But the backline is probably the only concern come final style.
I will say, though, they both have the talent to have the final series of their life. So the good thing for the Savage and Kayo Weeks and the outside backs, it's not like they don't have the talent to do it.
Yeah.
So that's the key. Because like some of these other teams you look at and you go, I just don't think this player or that player is that good. Like, whereas they have the talent to do it, and we could be looking back and Kayo Weeks could be bloody player of the final series. That's how much talent he has. So that was just one question. I tend to think, listen, I'd be pretty happy, like, okay, I'd be satisfied with a prelim. I expect a grand final, but I'd be satisfied with the prelim with the Raiders. Now, in regards to one of the tries, mate, Jed Stewart, that flick pass,
Oh,
my God. You know what? That's also Service of the Week. Service of the Week, brought to you by Aspley Mazda, Luke Camilleri, is Jed Stewart's flick pass. Where did that come from? Far out. I tell you what, like, Ricky Stewart must be absolutely beaming and also just happy that he was so patient with his son. A lot of people might go, the son-father dynamic, it's going to be tough. I will say what makes it easier in this situation, he's a winger. He's not in a key position. So, like, very rarely are you blaming a loss on a winger. So I don't think he'll be in the spotlight as much. And I also think that, like, Ricky Stewart has such a reputation about earning his stripes, I think most people go, listen, if he's in the first grade side, he must have done the hard yards.
Yeah, well, if you go back and have a look at when he made his debut, all the players talking that week, like it wasn't even Ricky that made the call, really. It was the players that went to him and said, Jed is ready.
Yep.
You need to pick him. They're going to buy this week. I believe Tamale is returning after the bye.
Yeah.
So I wonder what Ricky's going to do there.
Yeah, I mean, Tamale was on.
I think you have to pick Tamale.
I mean, he was on song for a rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how good's that been? Like, as a silver lining that, looking at what does our back three sort of depth look like, the fact that if we do lose an outside back come finals time, and they've been able to get 10 or so games into Jed Stewart, who, as you said, he's gotten noticeably better with each week. And, I mean, even a few weeks back, that sort of bit of a mismatch, certainly experience-wise with Zach Lomax, and he did a great job on him there, and what he did on the weekend. So, like, those 10 or so games we've got into Jed Stewart, if he's required come finals time.
Is Albert Hopewadi still at the club?
No, he's out. I just checked. He's out for the year.
I was going to say that surely Ricky Stewart sits there and pinches himself sometimes and goes, we are so far ahead. I did not expect this.
Yeah.
There's no way he did. Now, I know at the start of the year is like, if we come last, it's going to be a hell of a competition. But surely he didn't think he'd be leading the comp with 3 or 4 rounds to go. It's incredible.
You wouldn't think so.
Surely.
What about Fogarty's in chat in the post game talking about that flick pass? Did you see that? And he goes, well, Ricky never did that. He must have learned that from his mum.
That's great stuff. That's great stuff. I thought Timoko was good again. Sebastian Chris, mate, talk about just like he just flies under the radar, doesn't he, Sebastian Chris? He must be one of those centres that you go to play him, and because there's all these other like stars or whatever, and then like he stands you up a few times and you go, holy shit, like this guy's out of nowhere, but it's not out of nowhere.
He's quite a big boy. Like, he's well built. He's a big, strong centre. And then Mobsy had the stats early, but he was like number 9 on the speed tracker for the season.
Yeah.
So that probably catches people out.
Absolutely.
Surely.
I think he's really come into his own over the last 6 weeks or so.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
remember talking about him last year and like we were sort
quiet.
of calling him like a strike centre. He's a little bit quiet throughout this year, but I thought the last 6 weeks he's really burst back.
I'm with you.
Just on the halves we were talking about before as well, the Raiders reserve grade beat the Dragons the other day, who won 8 or 9 games in a row a few weeks ago or whatever. Sanders scored a try, had 2 try assists.
Okay.
The Colonel.
Okay, that's good. The Colonel. Yeah. Now, it's crazy we haven't even spoken about him yet, but Strange. What a performance. I actually, so as I said earlier, I had Strange 2 or more and Raiders 1 to 12 because I just knew that, I knew he was on DCE, so I was like, mate, DCE's going to have a tough afternoon against Strange. He was outstanding. And I've seen some people agree and disagree about representative footy. I actually think I know it's going to be hard to get in between Moses or Cleary or whatever, but I will say if there's a guy that suits Origin footy, it is Strange. And I wonder, could it be a 14? Because he's been also flying under the radar, and I thought on the weekend we just saw how good he can be.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Origin starting, Chad, is so premature. Like, all right, we're going to kick out Nathan Cleary or Mitch Moses, or we have so many outstanding options in the halves. And that's Isaiah Katoa coming through as well. But he can play anywhere.
I'll tell you what.
Bench utility. Like, if he's going to get picked for the Blues, it'll be as a 14.
I'll tell you what, Katoa, Strange in 5, 6, 7 years' time, that's going to be interesting.
Perfect, because I've said it a few times before, but he just reminds me so much of Cameron Munster, where even earlier on in the season in his career, I thought Strange, maybe a centre, maybe he gets bulks up and becomes a bit of a lock forward, but he's obviously just absolutely made a home as number 6. But I don't think it matters. You could play him 1 to 13, and I think he'd do a job for you and be effective. So, yeah, I think if we're talking Origin down the track, sure, one day as a starting 6, but if we're talking next year, he's a perfect utility.
Has he locked up Dalian 5-8 of the year?
Oh, with that performance he did for me.
I think so.
Yeah, I think he's got to be thereabouts. Interesting to see, Kevy Walters mentioning on the Fox call. He's got my attention.
Well, he's a good squad player because he plays so many different positions.
Yeah.
And so you just bring him in, get him experience.
Especially for a UK tour,
Yeah.
a long way.
And
Yeah.
mate, it's going to be interesting when we do get to that squad selection. I reckon there's going to be so many guys pull out. There's so many guys playing hurt at the moment that you could end up with some, whether it could be an Ethan Strange or a Liam Henry, or there's going to be a few wild cards in there, I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
Especially
absolutely.
with all these players going to play for Samoa, Tonga as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. I thought Big Red was good. Hosking, 42 tackles, only 1 miss. Yeah, so just good, solid performance from the Raiders. This is exactly what they needed. Now, the next thing they need for the next step, I reckon, is just a big 80-minute performance. But the tough thing is, do they play?
Penrith post-bye.
Okay, so that's going to be
At Mudgee.
perfect.
Is that the best ever game in a regional setting? 6 p.m. Mudgee, Panthers versus Raiders?
That's so good. That's so good. And even if they don't win, it's just how do they go? That's all I worry about. Is like, as long as they don't get blown off the park and they come out, lose by 6 or even 12, you go, no, it's all right. Like, we can continue to build. If they win, that's even better. So that's the perfect test, because you don't want them playing tough games every single week, but you need them to test themselves at least once or twice.
They should have back for that Matty Nicholson, Tamale. Honestly, we're nearly entirely full strength. Whether or not they give them a game through Cup on the way back, I'm not sure, but we couldn't be better positioned going into it off a bye. But again, that's where expectation will come in, going, all right, you've had a bye, you're full strength, no excuses.
It could turn out in a weird way. Like, they play each other in that game, as you said. That's round 25. They could play each other finals week 1v4. And then they'll be on the other side. Like, they could play each other 3 times in the next 6 weeks potentially.
Best of 3, you're saying, Roo?
Potentially,
yeah.
Okay, on to Manly. I got to say, the battle between Papali and Jake Trbojevic. I mean, obviously, Big Papa eventually won it. You got to give credit for Jake Trbojevic, though, bloody putting everything on the line. But that was great. Just shows you that Big Papa, he's still there. He's still a big dog in the competition, far out. I thought his kickoff runs were outstanding. Hopefully,
is the chat of him going to England, is that for next season? Or the
Yeah,
year after?
it was, but there's now been chat of him maybe staying another year.
So that's the other one, like with Fogarty as well, as far as long term. Josh is going to be a huge loss too if he does go.
Geez, I hope they find a way to keep him, honestly. And I know they've sort of given him permission to not given permission, he's off contract, I think, and there was chat of maybe Newcastle at one stage, maybe one of the Queensland clubs. England was a big one, but the footy he's still playing, the level he's at, say settled in Canberra, he's lived there for about 15 years. I reckon he'd take a bit of a pay cut, whatever it might be. And I'm assuming the Raiders, the last thing they want is for Josh Papali'i to leave, but it's obviously a roster thing where one of the junior talents or rookie talents is going to get squeezed out, and they don't want to do that. But the fact that we have lobbed in this premiership window and how big a part of Josh Papali'i is, I'd be doing everything I can to keep him for one more year.
I can't see a world where Ricky lets him go if he wants to stay there.
That's what I thought. That's why the stuff earlier in the year in the chat about him going elsewhere surprised me. I thought, you just make it happen.
And if he wants to go somewhere else, sure. But if he is now saying he wants to stay, we're at that function at the start of the year, and Ricky was on stage and just flat out said, he's my favourite. He always has been.
Yeah, wow.
He was tearing up when he was talking about him. And
well, look at his performance in Origin. Went on, did a job in the toughest environment, and he's still got it.
He's been at the club, came down from Queensland when he was 16 years old. It's been home for over 15 years.
Great goal kicking depth as well. So, gotta keep hold of him.
Okay, on to Manly. Just sending our well wishes to Jake Trbojevic. I've just got to say, Kohler this year has been absolutely phenomenal. And I think that not enough people have been speaking about it, including myself, but especially the last kind of 6 weeks. He has been probably, I'd argue, maybe playing the best footy of his career. Scoring a bunch of tries, getting a bunch of line breaks. Seeing him put the gas on Savage at the start of the game. Now, granted, Savage had to turn and chase, which is always slower, but still, there's not many people that run around Savage. And granted, both of them they're both high school sprinters. I think they both have won a Queensland title. But that was good to see. So quick. And even that kick in field to Tommy Turbo, scored a try himself with great footwork, off the left foot again, I think. Scored himself. So I just think he's been outstanding, Collar.
Yeah, he's been great. And I think for Tonga as well, going to pay huge dividends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Isaiah and him on that edge.
Every year, he just flies under the radar, Kohler, and even before he started, he scored 14 tries this season. Prior to this year, he hadn't scored more than 8 in a year in the past 4 years. Defensively, he's just one of the best centres in the NRL, and now he's stringing the tries together with it, whether that's just through blinding pace and getting on the outside, or he runs one of the best centre lines in the game. And, we look at Dally M centres of the year, he probably gets one of them for me. He's been outstanding.
He's been so good. And a team that, has been so up and down as well.
He's a player I would play overs for. I don't no idea what he's on, but I guarantee it's unders. He's phenomenal.
I'd be super interested to see him in a side that is going well, whether that's at Manly or somewhere else or whatever. But yeah, I just think he's been so good, and like he just creates things by himself a lot of the time as well.
He's one that I think the Wallabies were keen on as well.
Oh wow!
Of that.
Like everything he does, he's always done it on the left edge at Manly, and for years because of DC on the right, Olaquatu on the right, you know, Ruben Garrick's been playing right centre, Jason Saab. They've always been such a right edge dominant team. So Kohler, he just doesn't get the quality ball on the left. He is this year, but he's doing it on their weaker side.
Yeah. Where have you got Manly as a club right now?
Yeah, I was never as high on Manly as you guys. Even they go down to Melbourne a few weeks ago, put everything into that. They haven't won a game since then. They haven't really looked like winning a game since then, and they can beat up on teams like they've been pretenders for me as a whole for a long time. I just have no faith in Manly whatsoever week to week, and I think they'll be better next year with Jamal Fogarty. I think the style that DCE plays, I think it's almost gone a little bit stale for Manly, to be honest with you.
Their final month, like super winnable games. If they're anything serious about them, like they've got Tigers this week, very winnable.
Nah.
Dolphins at Brookie, very winnable. Dragons, that's away, very winnable. And then they have the Warriors in round 27 at Four Pines, who, you know, the injuries are adding up. Like, they can still play finals, and if they're good enough, they should be.
Quite often for
Those
those.
four teams that won't roll over though.
No,
Yeah.
God, no.
Manly to me just look like they don't want to put their hand in the fire at them.
Quite often with Manly as well, it's been like the winnable ones, which actually ended up being the problem.
Yeah.
They end up dropping a couple of those, and then they'll just pull one out against a Storm or a Penrith or whatever when you don't expect it.
They pumped Raiders earlier in the season. They've beaten, as you said, like Melbourne down there.
Beat the Broncos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very strange.
I'll tell you, when I watch Manly every single week, I cannot believe Ethan Bullimore isn't the first player picked in the forward pack to start.
I've been saying it for so long,
It's like he re-signed the other day.
which is good.
It's great.
Start him.
How the hell? Like, I don't even care where you start.
Yeah. Because
Front row, edge, lock. Don't give a fuck. Pick him
Yeah,
somewhere.
because like I'd understand if they had a really good forward pack and he was like, no, he's our specialist impact guy. But when you're this low on forwards and you're struggling in the middle that much, it's like you can't afford to have him as an impact guy because the game's already gone.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Like, I can't believe with all the injuries I've had on the edge, they've got Corey Waddell and Michael Cheekham, with all due respect to him, and they've plucked from the clouds. But put him out there. Just get him on the field.
I'm with you because Bullymore on the weekend, 17 runs, 178 metres, 4 tackle breaks, a line break, 18 tackles, only 1 miss. And he did that in 47 minutes. It's like, surely get more minutes into
With
it.
Gerbo out this week, surely you just put Bullimore at 13 and
Yeah.
just let him go.
Just say, mate, just rip and tear. I watched the press conference after with Seabold. Probably being a bit too harsh, but I just, like, it's just, he says the same thing each week. Like, we had lost some momentum and a few errors here and there. And it's just like, if I was a Manly fan, I'd be like, can you just give me some kind of, first of all, some passion. Second of all, like something different from just a stale, very sterile breakdown of what happened. Because I already know what happened. I just watched the game.
Some transparency.
Yeah, like
what are you actually thinking?
Yeah, what is going? Like, what do you actually think about DCE's form right now? What do you think about everything that's going on? Like, I don't know. As I said, maybe I'm being too harsh, but I just watched it and I was like, man, this honestly feels like I've heard him say this like 10 times. And I just think that I like, even if a coach blows up in a press conference about a call, like for example, Ricky Stewart, the amount of times I disagree with him about calls and he blows up about it, but at least he cares. Like at least he cares so much that he doesn't care, he's going to say it. I just think sometimes as a coach, the press conference are for the fans. And sometimes you just got to show them like that it hurts and you care. Whereas with Seabold, it's just very much like, it's like not as bad as Adam O'Brien. And Adam O'Brien's lifted his energy a little bit, but it's tough.
I think probably to your point, Campy, they're sitting there in a room full of journos with the microphones and they might have, beef with some of the journos or the papers or whatever it might be. And they just think, I don't want to tell the paper this or that. But think bigger picture. Think about your 25,000 paying members that want to hear what you have to say and all that rather than the paper that you don't like, whatever it might be.
Send Jazz in there next week.
Oh. Clapping cheeks. The big fella. Did you see his rampage on the internet?
All time.
It was all time.
So good.
Yeah, like even last year when Kevy Walters and a lot of people go, oh, you're delusional because he was like, we will make the finals, whatever. But at least you're seeing a guy that's passionate and believing. Even if you think that's crazy, whatever, at least I'd rather my coach be crazy and passionate than kind of just sterile. Just like, and I know, like, Seabold would care. You wouldn't be a head coach if you didn't care. Just show us.
Yeah.
Show us something. Fuck. And then I go, like, is that how he talks in the dressing room all the time? Is that why they're so flat? Anyway, just a little nitpick. Yeah. Here's what it is. Okay, on to the next game. Dragons defeat the Sharkies 22-14. This was an outstanding performance by the Dragons. I really, really liked this performance. I thought for most of the game they were the better side. I felt like they controlled outside of I think the first 20 or maybe even 15, the Sharks were really good at controlling field position. But then the first opportunity the Dragons got up there, boom, scored. And then from that point on, I thought the Dragons were quite good at controlling this one. I really thought this was a good controlled win. And it just shows you that, okay, are the Sharks the best side in the comp this year? No, they're not. But they're definitely a top 8 side. It shows you that this is where the Dragons can be. If they play that it wasn't probably even their best on the weekend, but if they play an 8 out of 10, they can hang around the 8. And so I think it's really exciting for the Dragons.
Yeah, I took a lot of positives out of it. I thought this game summed up these two clubs, though. The Dragons can get up for these games. They've got these performances in them. And the Sharkies can underperform as soon as you put some faith in them. I find both these teams very frustrating because I think the Dragons quite often they underplay where they should be and what they can do. And I feel the Sharks do the same too.
Sharkies 63% completion rate, and you're playing for the top 4. Fitzy must be fuming.
Yeah, I was a bit with you, Kempy, where I saw the natural reaction out of it was Sharks let another one slip, and what a poor performance for a team who can potentially at their best be competing for a premiership, whatever. And look, the completion rate, that's just the dagger in the foot, the elephant in the room that you can't ignore. But I'm with you. The reality is the gap between these two teams is not as big as the ladder suggests and what people think, but the Dragons were awesome.
Yeah.
They played really good, controlled, professional brand of footy in sort of the rain came in the second half at stages and they closed out brilliantly. The Dragons are just, they're so far from easy beats. They have shown that they can compete with any team in the competition. They beat Melbourne this year, the Sharkies, they beat the Raiders last week. A lot of these were in awful conditions, but that again ties back to they played disciplined brand of footy.
Yeah. And I think Flano re-signing for another 2 more years is outstanding for them. They've got, some direction. Recruitment will be easier. I just think that, Flano, what he's managed to do with this squad, I never forget when he first got there and for so many years the Dragons couldn't sign anyone, and then he got there and he just made these boom, three big signings, boom, 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 done, or at least in the first or second year or whatever it was, and now all of a sudden they find themselves with arguably maybe outside the Warriors, but arguably the best young forwards in the comp, and also already nearly in the 8. So it's only looking up from here.
Shout out to the debutant Buchanan. I thought he was great. From Gerringong, I believe. I'm just doing some quick maths. I think over the weekend they had 6 players from the town of Gerringong that were playing. Gerringong's a town of 4,000 people. 6 players is 1 to 2% of the NRL this weekend were from Gerringong, a town of 4,000.
Jesus.
Mental.
I think it's crazy. It's unbelievable.
That's insane. It must be just a culture there of rugby league, I guess.
I think it's because I've got a caravan down there.
Do you have a caravan down there?
Fucking bet your dick over. Look at the juniors they're producing, mate. I think I'm done my ear to the ground.
I want to talk about Big Clemmer. I cannot believe how good he is playing. And they use him. What I like about Flano is, geez, he's smart with the way he sets his sets up. What they do with Clemmer, because they know he's not necessarily going to get a quick play of the ball because he's so big, they just lay lines with him. So they'll just go, lay a line, tram line at the 7 or whatever, big fella, because they know he's going to find his front. And they know he's going to probably take 3 or 4 people to get him down. I think Clemmer's been phenomenal. I really, really do. This is the best he's played in maybe 5-6 years.
Oh, without a doubt. He's been tremendous. And he came off after about 10 minutes or so, didn't he? And he looked busted. He came back on. His second stint was 55 minutes.
Wow.
Massive.
Crazy.
I can't believe. I mean, that's, if you want to see how good of a coach Flano is, look how good Clemmer's going.
And the Dragons have had forwards, particularly like edge back rows, dropping like flies this season. In this game, Blake was the only forward for the Sharkies to run over 90 metres. The Dragons had 6 forwards over 100 metres. And I said, Clem's the main man. He's been outstanding.
What do you reckon, Hammy?
Mate, Clemmer, unbelievable. I mean, his last probably 6 to 8 weeks in and around his milestone game that he had, been unbelievable. Winding the clock back, using him really well as well, taking the sting out of the game at the start, especially with a couple of the Sharkies got some big front rows, AFB, of course, like trying to slow them down. But then, for him to come back and play such a long stint towards the end, he's just doing so much right, about 150 metres each week, not missing any, or if he's missing any, just a couple of tackles. He's been incredible.
Occasionally I have these moments where I look up a player's age and it shocks me to my core that David Clemmer's 2 years younger than me. I feel like I've been watching him since
How old is he?
31.
Jeez. It hasn't sports science just made so many careers longer these days. Like back in the day, it was like when you hit 30, you were Dunskies.
Well, mate, like if he's playing 75% of what he's doing right now for the next 2 years, he's worth having for me.
Yeah, because he wouldn't be on a big wicket.
Wouldn't be on heaps.
I wonder, do you reckon Tigers would be paying the first year? Probably.
I don't know.
Probably didn't end that well,
Sounds
did
like
it?
something you'd
Yeah.
do.
Hey?
Sounds like something you'd do.
Yeah, it does. It's pretty on brand. Yeah.
You are a feeder club to the rest of the NRL.
We are. You're welcome. Speaking about Harry Grant earlier, you're welcome.
Oh man, I'll never forget when he was at the Tigers and there started to be like whispers that he was going to stay. I was like, maybe he will. And then heartbreak, he didn't.
Yeah. We're a destination club now. Players come from leave other clubs to come to us. So it's good stuff.
I thought Leilua was great as well. Jeezy, when
Former
he's at
Tiger.
his best, yeah, well, there you go. When he's at his best, he's just a handful. Every time he gets the ball, he's got it in one hand. He's hard to tackle. He's got a good offload, good draw and pass. I thought he's really good. I'm with you. I think Hayden Buchanan, for a young fella, it's his debut too, outstanding. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, 100%. The other debutant, Halangahu, off the bench, he was a little bit quieter. He didn't have a huge breakout game, but yeah, he's another very exciting one for Dragons fans.
Gutho, also outstanding. If it wasn't for Teddy, he would have been my fullback. Just some of the efforts that Gutho made, some of those try-saving tackles coming across, and he's all heart. He really is all heart, Gutho, and I think that he's been a really important piece of the grit that this team shows. I really think that, like, if Gutho wasn't in this side, would they fight in games as much as they do? I don't reckon they do. I reckon Gutho is the leader of that fight.
Yeah, I don't think Damien Cook's too far behind him, but if you're looking for like a Shane Flanagan player, I don't know if there's a bigger one in the comp than Gutho, realistically.
Yeah, he never gives up. Ever gives up. So really, really good signs for the Dragons, exactly what they needed at this time of the year. And at the very least, if they can finish the year well and strong, at the very least, they can head into next year with a bit of confidence.
Are they out of contention?
No, they can still make it.
They can still make it.
Yeah. Okay, on to the Sharkies. Just that completion rate, my God. You can make the top 4. The season's not on the line, but, you're basically, if you don't make the top 4, you can't win a comp. And you come out and put that performance on. Like, I know they tried till the death and they got kind of close, but just, you can't be doing that.
Yeah, and as you said, mate, like their season wasn't on the line, but like most teams can't win the comp from outside the 4. There's not a hope in hell Cronulla can put together 4 weeks on the trot. And with their draw, the way it is for the run home, they should win the vast majority of those games. But they could have really given it a shake to jump into that 4. This loss, I think, puts it out of reach, though.
Yeah, because Penrith aren't probably going to drop anything.
No.
So, just a massively missed opportunity. But what's so surprising is, like, surely they were aware of the opportunity, Like, it would have been drilled in them all weeks. Oh, Timmy, what do you reckon?
On top of that, Britton Nikora, I think he's been suspended for 3 weeks for that tackle.
Yeah, fuck.
With a couple of minutes left to go in the game and just, all right, you've lost your strike back rower till finals. And that's it. Like, I was so impressed with the Dragons. I was going to sort of not be as tough on the Sharks. But as you said, what they were playing for and a soft run home with very winnable games, they had every chance to be a top 4 side and get that second crack. But I missed out. I missed the 62% completion campaign. I'm like, that's inexcusable. That's so poor.
Like, in a game like that where everything's, not everything, but you know what I mean. Your season's on the line. Because like with the Sharkies, when I say season on the line, like they came into this as, okay, because we've got Adam Blake, we should be a premiership threat. At the moment, they're not even close to a premiership
for
threat.
me, might sound harsh, but for the Sharkies, making the 8 isn't an achievement for me.
No, I don't think so.
Been a
either.
top 4 side the last 4 or 5 years. Like you should be there. You've built this squad for years. It's at its peak right now. To not be in proper premiership contention, I'd be pretty disappointed if I was a Sharks fan.
They nearly made 3 times the errors of the Dragons. So they made 15 and the Dragons made 6.
Yeah, and you say some wet conditions. There'd been a lot of rain around for the weekend, and it came in the back end of the game. The Dragons completed 88%. So I was like, well, can't use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
Sharkies have a bye, so that means Nikora isn't back till week 1 if he takes the early play.
Damn. Far out. Okay, let's talk about some positive performances, I guess. To be honest, there wasn't really that much to write home about.
I thought AFB was good, but outside of that, not much.
Yeah. I'm trying to, Hines, great try assist, but outside of that, geez,
Did you hear those comments from AFB the other day? They mentioned in commentary that he sort of said he felt like he had a period of the last few weeks where he was fading in and out of games. That's just I heard that and I was like, this is one of the best front rowers in the world. It sort of sums up the Sharks for me.
Yeah, where he felt he was fading.
He felt as an individual, and he owned it. He came out and said it. And I agree with him. When Blake Brayley was going that incredible one, I rapping him every week, and I kept saying, it's even more impressive that AFB's not firing at the moment. I agree with AFB, but how that, it just feels like that's what the Sharkies are to me. They play the Titans this week. I'm nowhere near as confident as I should be.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. I'm with you. I've got to say, man, Braden Trindle, 4 runs for 17 metres as a 5'8". 7 tackles, 1 miss, 1 offload. Yes, Nico Hines is the main man. I'm not saying he's not. But I just reckon the noise around Hines has shaded Trindle this season because I just think that I don't think he's had a good year. I really don't. At least for the last, whatever it is. Not to his potential. 17 metres run when you're a 5'8", as good as he is.
In the wet.
That's yeah, I just think that he hasn't, let's just put it this way, he hasn't been helping the spine that much.
Yeah, he had some moments earlier in the year where I thought, okay, starting to look okay, but you're right. In the last 6 or 7 weeks, and the closer we get to finals, the less confident I'm getting.
There was a period where they were going in and Hines was controlling everything and they looked all good. And then the first time Trindle got the ball, he just knocked it on. And it was just you got to, Hines needs a bit of help in attack.
Yeah, I actually think Braden Trindle's had a pretty good year. I don't think he was great on the weekend, but they have such a unique halves dynamic, Hines and Trindle. But for the most part, Nico Hines is the dominant half in this team. Trindle plays as sort of the foil to him. There are times when sort of a Trindle has the hot hand that he sort of takes over, but I don't know. I think he's been quite good this year, Trindle. He's not on the level of Nico Hines. He's not a well beater. I think this is a bloke who was playing reserve grade not that long ago. I think he's been all right. But on the weekend, I think he was underwhelming for sure.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he should take as much responsibility as Hines. Hines is the main man. I get all that. But I think he started the year okay, but I just think that the last, I don't know, I'll just say 10 weeks, for how talented he is in attack, and what he can do, I just don't think he's delivered enough.
He hasn't kicked on from the way he started the year, that's for sure.
If you have a look, I think he's had 2 try assists in the last 8 weeks or something along those lines.
2 try assists. And he's got 14, so it's clearly started the year well.
Yeah. 2 in the last 6 weeks.
Jeez, far out.
Whereas if you have a look at the start of the season, he went 4 in the first 3 weeks. By round 7, he had 7 try assists at that point.
Yeah, wow. Okay. Look, Sharkies need to pull it together. I guess I'm just getting to the point now where it's it feels almost like a pointless season for them. Because, if they make the 8, yeah, okay, sweet. Win a finals footy here or there, it's that's not what you came into the year hoping for. Now, don't get me wrong. If they do make the finals and they win a game here, a couple of games, that'd be awesome. But it's still not where the start of the year you probably found yourself.
Anything less than week 3 of finals is cool, another year of week 1 or 2 of finals.
Yeah.
Like we should be better than this.
Yeah. If they just go week 1 or 2 of the finals, does Fitzy need to reset?
Mate, what do you do? Like, where do you make this squad better?
I think they need another forward. Obviously not as good as Adam Fenor-Blake, but another front row to help him, like a good young one or...
Yeah, I think once you get Ito back and Talakai can move back to a bench forward, I think that helps them.
Yeah.
But, like... Yeah, and granted, probably having one more front row forward to help AFB, sure, but I wouldn't say it's a gaping hole in this side.
This is a pretty crazy stat. I just had a look. So on November 1, all but 7 players can speak at this point.
Wow.
They've only locked up 7 players for 2027 and beyond.
So looks like they're already kind of timed it for if they do go on to win a comp.
That's why it was these two. It's this year and next year. That's what they've been built. Like, but at the end of last year, we were sitting there looking at the guys on contract going, they can't keep all these guys. Kept every single one of them.
Yeah. So I think that if they bow out this year, you'd probably assume that Fitzy would go, you know what, like I'm probably rebuilding here. Not a crazy rebuild because they've got some key players in key positions, but like a half rebuild, I'd say.
They don't need to do much. I think it's if they do bow out early, it's a big move probably in your halves. Like Brayley's not going anywhere. It's in your halves or you've probably your fullback is where you need to pull the trigger. I'm not saying Kennedy's responsible if they go out week 1 of finals, but as I said, like their roster across the board is so strong, but something needs to change. Yeah. Because the same roster isn't going to all of a sudden just win a comp, I don't think.
I will say, ever since they lost Ito, they have struggled. Like he was so important to them.
It's crazy how long it took him to get into the side.
Yeah.
How important he is now that he's not there. And it's not like that. Like Talakai 2 years ago was one of the better centers in the comp.
Yeah.
It just shows how valuable he's been to them.
Anyway, we'll see. I will say from Daniel Atkinson's perspective, like almost like a gap year for him. He just been sitting on the bench.
18th or 14th.
Yeah, and it's just like I'm sure he wants to be in the first grade side. He'd rather do that than play reserve grade, but like it's not good for his development, that's for sure.
I was talking to a Dragons fan on the weekend. He said, "Oh, yeah, we've got Atkinson coming." I was like, "Fuck, I don't know if I remember what Atkinson looks like." I feel like you just haven't seen him this year. I know he's a good footballer. I like him, but it's just you just have not seen him.
He hasn't got any opportunity to do anything. No. So I just, with Trindle's form the last 6-7 games, I know it'd probably be stupid because if you brought Atkinson in, now, it's like, well, you're building for next year, so why would you do that? But could there be a critique that Fitzy could have pulled the trigger earlier on Atkinson and paired him with Hines just to see how it goes? Or do you think that Trindle is too much like a 7 that kicks that he couldn't afford to take him off the field?
I wouldn't have done that personally. I would have stayed with Trindle and Hines, but potentially.
Yeah. I don't know what the answer is to that, just more of a hypothetical.
I feel like with the Sharks, though, like week to week, I don't know what I'm going to get out of them. But I kind of feel like they're the same. I'd love to know what the vibe is before a game there with the Sharkies. Like if Fitzy knows when they're on and when they're not. Because I feel like you can usually tell in the first 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, definitely.
But I never have any idea going into their games.
Alrighty, on to the next game. The Roosters demolish the Dolphins 64-12. And this is brought to you by the Captain's Club. The NRL's biggest rivals are going head-to-head in round 27. Roosters will play the Rabbitohs at Allianz Stadium. The Roosters have a game day experience in the Captain's Club where you sit in premium seating, get a 2-course meal with halftime catering from Mr. Wong, plus unlimited premium beverages. The link to this will be in the show notes, but if you use code BLOKE20, the Roosters are giving a 20% discount. And round 27, that's obviously against the Rabbitohs. You do not want to miss that game. Get the tickets now because it's going to be, I assume it's going to be a sellout.
It might be an AJ record-breaking game.
So
yeah,
absolutely.
Might have to jump over your Mr. Wong's table to get on the field.
Yeah. So 20% discount, guys.
See you, Wong.
See why Wong's cooking for you. So guys, use the link because the discount may go, so 20% off. Wow, I tell you what, I think the Dolphins didn't realise that they were probably going against the one team you don't want to get into almost a gladiator battle against. Like, Roosters footy is like, that's how Trent Robinson treats his players, almost like gladiators out there. I mean, we've seen it. They've always been known for their physicality. And I admire the Dolphins showing ticker and getting involved in that. But unfortunately, that's the Roosters' bread and butter. You go into that style of rugby league, they're going to beat most sides. Whereas against the Roosters, you've almost got to frustrate them out of that footy and almost like, not spread it, but keep ball in play, quick footy, fatigue some of the big boys. But I think I respect it from the Dolphins. It showed how much ticker. They're not going to take a backward step. So I did like that. However, when you got players of their calibre that like that kind of rugby league, what we saw was White and Spencer Lenu go, welcome into this is our home. This is where we dominate teams. And they absolutely, after that initial, I guess, couple of shots from Donahue, which for a guy as his size, he might have the biggest balls in the country. Like, seriously. He's a half.
Mate, there's not much. We interviewed him last year at Magic Round. We're up there with the Dolphins. We interviewed him, and I remember walking out of that and saying to Kat, I go, that Donahoe, like, fuck, there's a couple of screws missing there. Like, he's a good footballer, but he's wild.
Yeah.
And you saw, like, that first 25 minutes, that was like a trailer park fight. That was insane.
Yeah, that's why it's the Kayo can't miss moment, guys. It's the Kayo can't miss moment. So let's walk through it. Okay, so there's a little bit of a tackle between 15 from Dolphins. How do you say it?
Obliques tougher?
Obliques, yeah.
Tougher?
Yeah.
And he just pushes Sam Walker away from him. Spencer Lenu comes screaming in, pushes him. Nothing goes on there. Then Spencer Lenu takes a tap. Donahue screams out of the line, hits him. They kind of bump together, and then they get a dominant tackle on Spencer Lenu. Then the Roosters score in the corner. And we don't have the actual footage of who said something first. So it could have been the Dolphins, it could have been Spencer Lenu. All we do see is Spencer Lenu turn around and square up. And then we see, forget his name again?
Obliques.
Tuffer.
Yeah.
We see him square up. Now, Tuffer kind of throws a punch or whatever, and then there's a big all-in or whatever. I've got to say, like, for Spencer Lenu, look, I would never, like, because I'm from the mean streets of the Gold Coast. He's from the Western Sydney, so it's not really that tough. But no, but I from different worlds, so I probably would never do the things that he does. But I got so much respect that he doesn't allow any social norms to dictate what he's going to do and what he's going to stand on. A bloke challenged him to a fight, I guess, and he said, "I don't care." And yes, was it a stupid thing because he's letting his team down? Yes, but I got to respect the fact that he is who he is, and he's not changing for anyone.
He's unapologetically a villain.
Like,
he just embraces it all the way through.
And I just respect it. Like, there's very few people in this world that love him or hate him will just be themselves. A lot of the time, social pressure will guide them into conformity. Mate, not Spencer Lenu. And as I said, it was silly. He let his team down with it. And I'm sure but at the same time, I look at the Roosters and I go, they dealt with Hargreaves for so long doing that. They're used to that kind of stuff. So it's almost like, do you pay the trade-off? I think Trent Robinson is almost okay with paying the trade-off. At least in this game, he paid the trade-off. Look, in regards to should have the Dolphins been sent off for 10, I've got to say, the ref saying I need 2 from either side is outrageous chat. That is outrageous chat. I cannot believe we heard a ref on tape going, I just need 2 from both sides. Because, like, you're essentially saying there's no one that instigated anything and they're both equally as bad as each other. Clearly, the guy that instigated it is the worst. I personally think in a perfect world, it would just been Spencer Lenu, but I didn't like how he was automatically just looking for 4 people. If it had been just one-on-one, I could have gone, okay, they both squared up to each other. Granted, you could argue, like, if a guy squares up, what is he supposed to do? But it had been one-on-one, I could have copped that. But anyway, I can't believe he just didn't even know who it was and he said, I need 2 and 2. I just thought it was just poor form.
I think they kicked off that one. Ref got a few minutes into it and went, "Oh, I'm starting to lose this," and then looked around and went, "Fuck it, this is gone. I just need to try and dampen this completely." I agree with you, but I think it just got away from him so quickly.
Well, then the next hit up.
Not that that's okay, but I think it was just a fucking circus.
Yeah. Then the next hit up, Wong gets absolutely just like a head clash. Now, Grant, I respect the refs for not penalising Donahue for the head clash. I will say I thought it was a shoulder charge, though, from the inside man, Keely. So I was a bit surprised they didn't pull that up. Maybe he didn't land the shoulder. I thought he did. So I thought the Roosters were a bit hard done by there. But yeah, anyway, Timmy, what are your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, honestly, it was one of my favourite 20 to 30 minute passages of footy I've seen all year and in a long time. I loved every single minute of it. Just the gladiatorial side of rugby league and the whole period of even after the scuffle of the shots and the size of the hits and just even just little things like then Billy Smith throwing a ball at, it might have been Donahue's face and just all those little things. It was just hair on end stuff, and this is the beauty of professional sport. It's people doing shit that we don't, sitting on the lounge at home with a beer in hand. We don't have this in us. We're not that tough. Like we wouldn't go out there and shape up to Spencer Leniu or any of that. And mate, I loved every single bit of it. And there'll be like even the sin bins. At the end of the day, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think anyone actually did anything wrong. And I understand that, you know, players were starting to lose their heads and they were trying to prevent things getting messier than they were. So maybe someone had to go to the bin, but did anyone actually do anything wrong in this instance?
Well, they were warned if you come in again, so maybe that's where he's leaning on.
You come in with a scuffle of, again, there was the Spencer Leniu shaping up. He still didn't do anything. And I said, I understand the preventative side of things, but maybe you send, as you said, Spencer Leniu off just as a, guys, I'm willing to do this, so pull your heads in. But for 4 people to go off, I just found it stupid. But, mate, from a spectator point of view, I loved every minute of it.
No, yeah, it's so good. It honestly reminded me of like the purest form of rugby league you could ever watch, because it's like you've got guys on both sides that don't give a shit where they get sent off, whatever happens. They don't care about their bodies. They don't care nothing. They're just going hell for leather.
And I'm just curious as to what people were actually binned for. Maybe it was you've been warned. Like warned for what? To scuffle? Like
yeah, like if you come in again.
If you come in again
someone's
and grab someone's shirt, it's like, well, put it this way, whilst the tension was obviously there, like it was heated, nothing happened.
Yeah.
As you said, though, like, are the Roosters probably the best side to, you know, try and get into that with? No, but fuck, man, if I'm a Dolphins fan, I'm sitting there going, okay, I know I've got these kids underneath that they believe in Wolf. They'll go to a dumb place for that
super
jersey.
dumb place, yep.
Super dumb place. Like, we're talking about a couple of kids here that are lunatics, and Ray Stone's name hasn't come up.
Mate, when
I wish Ray was on the field.
I know. I wish Ray was on there. Like when the boys got binned, Ray was on the sideline waiting for him to be like, "You legends!" Like just straight. God, I wish Ray was out there when it all kicked off.
Oh man.
How about Spencer giving the crowd these ones?
That's what I mean. Like I got to respect it, man. Like we need players like that in the competition.
Yeah.
We really do. And he leans all the way in, and he's not going to let anyone change who he is.
That's where if the Roosters are going to make a play at it this year, he has to be the village arsehole the entire way through.
Yeah. And, you know, like if they are to be a premiership threat in the next few years, that's why he was brought to the club,
and
to be an enforcer.
As this crop of Penrith players tend to do, they come out and they deliver on it. He comes out and scores not long after it. It's just like, of course he does.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's too well scripted.
I've got to say, if you ever doubted where White is now in regards to standing as a front rower, doubt no more, because he basically obviously got sent 10 in the bin and came back on and just dominated the whole game. Just like went to a whole nother level and said, all right, you want to get physical? Basically got shotted by, who tried to shot him, and he just laughed at him.
Molo, was it?
Yeah, Molo, head high him, and he just laughed at him. White, just seeing Spencer Leniu and White go to that kind of place, it was special. It was special.
Given what we've seen from White this year, was letting go of Terrell May a mistake? Do we still look at that as a bad call by the Roosters?
You know what? I think it's worked out better for both. Because would have he been allowed to play the style of footy that he's playing currently at the Tigers at the Roosters? No way.
No way. No.
There's no way. So I actually think it's worked out better for both. I think the Tigers suit him better. I think he's great for the Tigers. I think that it's good for both.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I'm definitely falling on my sword on that.
Like initially, of course, I was like, what the hell? But I didn't know how good White was going to be.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, in regards to the performance, obviously Nwanga Tawase scoring 3 tries. He is just a absolute freak of nature. But for me, it's a Sammy Walker show. You know, talking about last week because he had a bit of a poor week last week, but he just reminded he's the guy. He's the guy. You just got to give him time. No, he did his ACL. He's been out for a bit, but he was outstanding.
When he has time and space, I don't know if there's a better player to watch. Like that try that he set up for Daniel Tupu where he got it sort of off a half volley and his spatial awareness just to know where everyone is around him is incredible.
Mate.
It's like we say it all the time, but he's just a backyard footballer.
Yeah.
I think the big thing for me was we speak about the Roosters time and time again when they have all these attacking sensations on the field. There's so many strike weapons. Can they make it work? And Sammy coming back from an ACL layoff and James Tedesco's been fantastic all year. When he first came back, they hindered each other a little bit a month ago, but as we saw on the weekend, they made it work. And Tedesco had probably his best game of the season. Sammy Walker had his best game of the season. And you go, all right, they're clicking pretty quickly. Not to say they haven't played together, but I would argue they probably haven't really clicked before together at NRL level with other certain players in the team. If they can continue what they did on the weekend and just be synchronised, Sammy Walker and James Tedesco being the two main men in this attacking unit, how far can they go?
Yeah.
And
it said they've still got to make finals. They're in a battle, but the Dolphins hadn't played a bad game of footy since about round 3, and they just did this to them at Suncorp.
Mental. Absolutely mental. I've got to say as well, that was prime Teddy for me. That game there was as good as he's ever played, in my opinion. He was unbelievable. It was him that chipped that crazy chip
to Walker.
He did everything that you could do as a fullback. He did it.
Do we all agree Teddy's going to win the
by a landslide? It might be a record win. Seriously.
So Teddy, just having a look over the last 4 years, for example, he has been in the top 5 of the Dally M 3 of the last 4 years, and he's going to win it this year. In the last 3 years, he's come second twice, and he's going to win it this year.
I wouldn't rule out Cleary. Just going to throw that one out there.
Yeah, okay.
They haven't lost a game since they closed the doors.
Okay.
Not a bad point.
Not bad shout there.
Yeah.
And the 6 points, obviously.
Teddy was also already in a pretty good spot.
I think he was second behind Hughes or something, maybe.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, Metcalf.
Kennedy Metcalf.
Kennedy Metcalf.
Really towards the top
But
end.
Teddy was there or thereabouts before closed doors, I think.
Yeah.
But with that 6 point, where you can get sometimes 2 points,
quickly.
you can swing quickly. So if Cleary gets it for every game,
So Teddy was on 28 points when it closed in round 12. Nath Cleary was on at absolute maximum 16 because he's not on the board yet. So it's a lot to chase in. He's been playing some pretty good footy though.
yeah, I think because basically it's round 12 onwards where Cleary started playing really well, whereas Teddy essentially the whole year has been.
And Teddy also would have played an extra few games because of Origin
sure.
and that sort of
Cleary
stuff.
was rested for a few.
Yeah.
Cleary rested at least twice. And,
But Cleary could pick up 24 points in the next 4 fucking weeks the way he's going.
the Ponga.
Yeah.
But anyway, Teddy's stats: 2 tries, 3 try assists, 158 metres, 7 tackle breaks, a line break, 4 line break assists, 3 offloads, no errors. That's insane, bro. That's insane.
Just an obvious Supercoach captaincy play, bro.
Oh, yeah. Fucking. We'll deal with it this week.
I thought Billy Smith had some good moments too. Just shows you why they've got such faith in him. I thought Savala as well. Who would have thought he would be the one that would eventually step up and be the perfect foil to Sam Walker? Just they work perfectly together so quickly.
Oh, we'll enjoy it for the next 6 weeks and then change it all again. So that'll be good.
There's got to be a tough conversation there. There has to be. Just because you can sign a guy doesn't mean you should, in my opinion.
I mean, they are known as a club that keeps their word.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be changing it personally.
I'd be keeping Savala and I'd be keeping Sandon Smith and I would not be bothering with Daly Cherry Evans. He's not shown anything to suggest he's worth the money he's going to get. And even as far as if this has been a plan from a long way out, it's Daly Cherry Evans. He'll still sign at freaking 10 different clubs. He'll get in anywhere. The Roosters, do they need him next year? I don't know.
Yeah.
If they can show over the next 5 weeks they've actually found someone who can play with Sam Walker, no one move.
Yeah.
No one blink.
Yeah.
Just let it go.
Just let it happen, 100%. On to the Dolphins. really disappointing. Really, really disappointing. Their goal line defence came back to haunt them, which has been a little bit of their Achilles heel. Their attack has been great, but geez, their goal line defence was terrible in this game. As I said earlier, I did admire their ticker though. Like, there's very few sides that would have even tried to go in battle with the Roosters side. So I admire that. But yeah, just a tough night at the office.
Yeah, brutal night. Sort of felt like, not fair to say Herbie was the straw that broke the camel's back, that injury, but I also think in this game, when they came in with the approach they did, not having Felice Kafusi out there was a massive one for them.
Yeah. I think also, like, you saw the kind of different tier of forwards, and, Molo, who's been actually pretty good this year, and obviously Nichols, like, they're just not on the same tier. Yeah. Like, they're just not on the... Whereas, like, a Flegler and Gilbert starting, you go, okay, but when you've got White and Spencer Leniu raging like that, you need other essentially origin level players to go with them.
You put Flegler on that field.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's interesting.
Oh my God. That would be
war.
So good. But yeah, like, you look at their forward pack. So, like, this is their forward pack against the Roosters. Molo, Jeremy Marshall-King, Nichols, Lemuelu, Keeley, Kurt Donahue. Like, it's, you got two rookies in there with Donahue, Keeley. Yeah.
I think at every stage this season, with every single club, at one time or another, we would have said, put a line through the performance and move on. Every single one of them. We haven't said that about the Dolphins because they've had an answer to every injury or everything that has been thrown at them. They haven't lost a game 13 plus since round 2. That was a 14-point loss to the Knights in Newcastle. That was when they had schedules thrown around because of the floods and all sorts of things going on. So really just upsets it. They dead set have not had, in my opinion, a particularly bad game all year, and I reckon they'd nearly be the only club who have had that. You add in all these injuries, you add in, as you said, Guru, Herbie, and what he means to this team. Something had to give eventually, and look, it'd be demoralising the fashion that it did happen in being a 60-point, points put on them at home. But seriously, you put a line through this. Again, I know their injury toll's not getting too much better, but they're still in the hunt for finals. They have winnable games on the run home, albeit a toughish draw. And you just go, line through it, we move on. It happens.
So, I mean, I think there's no other option, really. Like, what do you gain from that other than, I guess, as I said, the lesson might be learned is, like, realise what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. And I think, like, the physicality of the Roosters is not so, like, unless you're the Panthers. But again, the Panthers beat them not by shotting them, by keeping ball in play and fatiguing them and moving the ball around. The Storm are the same. So, yeah, just a young squad, inexperienced, that probably just didn't realise what they were getting into.
And I mean, I think one of the ultimate compliments to the Dolphins is they just conceded 60 points at home. They're playing the Broncos at Suncorp this week. They're $2.18.
Yeah.
After everything that's gone wrong for them this season, don't they be $2.18?
Yeah, it's good. Absolutely. Okay, on to the next game. Doggies v. the Warriors. Absolutely outstanding performance from the Bulldogs. This is what I've been waiting for. I know they had it a few weeks ago, but this is the game that I've just been waiting for from the Doggies. I understand the Warriors were under strength. I get that. But, geez, they looked in control. They looked like they were playing Bulldogs football, fast through the ruck. Matty Burton's gone to a whole new level. Galvin seems like he's getting more comfortable. Even the Critter Kiraz situation, like, it's all just looking much better after that performance. Granted, as I said, we still need to see him against a top-tier side, but I was really happy with his performance for the Dogs.
I love what they're doing with Critter at the moment. Even if Connor Tracy, I think he's meant to return this week, is it? I think.
Yeah, it's either this week or next.
I think Ciro said he's meant to return this week. Yeah, he almost played that game, mate. I think I'd still be just having a few sets of game where I let Critter jump into fullback.
Because even Connor Tracy's ball playing, like, isn't as probably soft as Critter. What about Kiraz's hands for some of those tip-ons?
I think you're right, Roo. I think it's just added another dimension to the Bulldogs' attack and what's doing it. And as you said, Kemp, like Connor Tracy, he's known for his yardage and his hard work and what he does there, his running metres. His ball playing is fine, but it's not the strength of his game. What Stephen Crichton's done in the absence of Tracy and playing that hybrid role between fullback and centre, it's just the Doggies look so good with it. And when Connor Tracy comes back, all right, he doesn't play that role as often, but you definitely get him involved.
And I think it's it reminds me of what you said with Blaze before. When he jumps in at 5'8", he looks a little bit different. He troubles sides. Critter looks a little bit unorthodox, but he just holds people up all the time. I wouldn't be doing it heaps, but a few times a game, I'd just be giving him a set there.
Well, I think that's the next step for them because their biggest issue at the moment is, do they have the attacking flair to beat some of the top tier sides? And you put Critter in those positions. I personally think for centres, he's got the best catch and pass in the competition right now. But then on top of that, so he's done that for the last few weeks, just a subtle reminder, because Critter is such an unselfish player. Like, he's the captain. It's all about the team. Oftentimes, he's setting other people up for their big moments. Gets the ball off the scrum and just reminds everyone he's one of the best athletes in the whole competition. Just goes boom, boom, try time. Like it's a part of Critter's game that you don't see very often, because he is so concerned about being a leader for his side. But he is one of the best ball running centres in the competition. And I think that heading into finals footy, if they can find a way to get him good ball, whether it's at fullback or at centre, that might be the key to the next level of attack that they have.
Well, Tommy Turbo's set the platform, and he's like, here's the blueprint to do the roving centre. And you just replicate that. And I will say a lot of the best stuff that Critter has done has been, in recent weeks at fullback, has been down the right edge, which is obviously where he's stationed at. But Turbo, when he's playing right centre, he just goes and sweeps in as a backline movement on the left. And I mean, I even look at the Penrith Panthers, where Dylan Edwards plays most of his attack as a fullback down the right edge. He doesn't really do it on the left. Maybe you just say to Connor Tracy, for certain players, mate, stick to one side, and this is where we get Critter involved in sweeping the other side, because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And have a look at their season so far. They haven't played Melbourne yet. They play them in 2 weeks' time. Team coming first, Canberra. Why'd they beat them? Critter, just individual fucking brilliance that he created down there. Against Penrith as well. Like, I'm pretty sure it was Critter almost set up the match-winning try in the corner in that game. Like, I just think I'm concerned about Bulldogs against these top sides, but if they are going to beat them, Critter's going to have to do something special in it, I think.
Is it... Look, I'll just say one of. Is it one of the biggest impacts at a club in the last 5 years Critter's had at Bulldogs?
Absolutely.
I know...
Yeah.
Because I know, obviously, Serraldo got that second year, got the squad that he wanted, but his impact as a leader is like, I'm trying to think of, I'm sure I'm not remembering someone, but look, there wouldn't be that many people in the last 20 years that have had as much impact as Critter. As I said, there's probably some people that I'm not remembering, but his impact on the Bulldogs right now, it's like, he's seriously turned this club from bottom four into a top four side that, at the moment, if you look at their defence, they absolutely can win the premiership. And I understand it wasn't just him, but there's a reason why when they voted the captain, because he wasn't even expecting the captaincy, but they did a camp and they all voted and he was the captain. And so I just think Critter, we're only just seeing the beginning of his career. Like, by the end of his career, he'll end up wherever he wants to end up.
I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a player that's had a bigger impact in the last 15 years who's not in the spine at minimum.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Not in the spine. 100%. Absolutely. He's just so good. He's such an athlete. Far out. And also, when he does sweep around the back, he's deceptively fast as well, because he has long strides. You don't actually expect him to kind of explode the way he does.
Even that try he scored off the scrum, again, in torrential rain, just the sleight of hand, I think it was like under, shaped out, dummied, bang, went himself. Like, you shouldn't be able to do that. Like, you're not a halfback.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Freaking centre.
And that's the Warriors as well. Like, they've prided themselves on defence. Or like, we always talk about their attack. It's been their defence all season. That's in the wet. You shouldn't be able to do that shit.
It's crazy. Like, he truly is just so well-rounded. Like, we haven't even talked about his short kicking game, which has essentially got them the win in the Penrith Panthers grand final.
We know from Critter and his career so far, he saves his biggest moments for the big games. Yeah. And I think once you get to September, he needs to be chiming into other spots. Like, I assume they're either going to have to go to Canberra or to Melbourne, probably week one, or they'll be at home against a good side regardless. I think they just need to get his hands on the ball more.
Like, game one Origin, he locked down an edge by himself, essentially.
Yep.
Like, I've never seen it. Literally never seen it. So, mate, just, so good to see Critter there. In regards to some of the other performance, I'm just so impressed with Max King and Hughes. Like, they don't get the love that they deserve in that club, but they just turn up, do their hard yards. They actually very rarely, like, for all this talk about, they're a smaller forward pack, Max King and Hughes very actually rarely get dominated physically. And I don't think they actually get enough credit because the Bulldogs are being painted as this smaller team. And understandably, it's a quick aside, they probably don't get credited with winning the physical battle. But I'll tell you what, I haven't seen many games where Max King and Hughes have been fully dominated. Like, obviously there was some, but not as much as you would think with this whole smaller forward pack.
And, you know, once they come off the field, it's Harry Hayes who holds it through the middle there. He's been a good find for them.
Outstanding. And like, what's crazy is that the young fella that was in the trial that was supposed to be the next big thing, he was the best of the lot. What's his name? Is it Williams or something? Jack Todd.
Only got injured.
Yeah. Like, he was supposed to be the next big forward. So, like, it's just so impressive. Interesting, Mitch Wood getting closer and closer to a debut. I guess, do you guys think that's a smart decision, not a smart decision? What are your thoughts on the whole situation?
I, myself, was personally expecting if Galvin was ruled out that Woods would play. I think, like it or lump it, they've made their bed with Sexton. I understand the argument of you won games with him before, but I just think if you bring Sexton in now, like if there was an injury, you brought him in, you win 2 or 3 games, and you have to bring Galvin back in. I just think it creates too much noise. I think, and it sucks for Sexton, he deserves better, but I think Canterbury just need to look to the future.
I think as well, like Sexton, you know what you're going to get. So let's say Galvin gets injured before finals footy. Obviously you bring Sexton in because you're not going to bring Woods in for a finals game. But like, I agree with you, mate. Like, if they bring him in and they go on this crazy run and they're killing it, it just creates this massive headache for Galvin. They're already in the top 4. They're going to finish there most likely. You know what you're going to get with Sexton. You keep him there. You keep him happy if there is an injury, Galvin. Because I don't think, like, this is the perfect time for them to give Woods maybe a go because they're probably going to stay in the top 4. Whereas if they lose a player in finals footy, that's when you probably bring Sexton in. So it's interesting though. Probably, what do you reckon, a year ahead of schedule? Do you reckon the doggies thought they'd be bringing in Mitch Wood this soon? If they do?
I think, without any information, I think they would have been planning for the back end of this season to be starting having these conversations.
Yeah, okay.
What do you reckon?
I'd be picking Toby Sexton. Yeah, I just think the doggies are in a premiership window now, a chance to win a comp with a bloke who's been there and done it, and they led the comp with him as their halfback. I see the argument in sort of looking ahead, but they've got some really tough games in the back end of the season. There's only 4 games to go as is, so even if he does come in and play a few games, it's a very, very small window to settle in, and it has the potential, to bring in an untested halfback to derail any premiership credentials they have. So I just don't think you need to. And look, I know they're not moving in the direction of Toby Sexton moving forward, but that is just one of the biggest slap in the faces of all time. And Mitch Wood, on all reports, he's going to be a star of the future, but I think it's too late into the season, this close to finals, when you've got Toby Sexton sitting there ready to go.
And I don't necessarily disagree with you, but you mentioned they're slap in the face. I think it's been a slap in the face from the start.
It has, of course, yeah.
They've slapped him in the face as it is. Like,
turkey slap.
Your words, not mine. I mean, to Canterbury's credit, they made this big decision and no one else signed Sexton.
Well, the thing is like, I'd understand more that he's been treated poorly if they were forcing him out of a contract, but he's not signed for next year. So, like, although I understand he would be frustrated because they're on top of the table, he's playing solid footy. Unfortunately, just rugby leagues are just so ruthless. Like, that's just the way it is, man. Like, just...
If it was 6 weeks ago and one of the halves went down, I'd say, cool, play Mitch Wood because he has more time. But with tough game, just about every one of the games on the run home is really difficult. I think it's too small a window to debut, or what is he, 18, 19? I think you're playing with fire a little bit.
I think it's been good having him around the group for, a couple of big games, like, going through the motions, getting ready with all that sort of stuff. It was a pretty vocal crowd there last week as well. All that experience will be good for Mitch Woods down the track. But, I think if it came to the crunch and it was an important game, you'd have to get Sexton back in there.
For what it's worth, to probably support Timmy, like New South Wales Cup over the weekend, Toby Sexton had 13 kicks to Mitch Woods' 2.
Interesting. I've got to say, how good's Tuala been?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
And it just, again, shows you how good this Bulldog system is. But, mate, he's been outstanding since he came in. Now, I'm going to get his name. I really like him. Is it the headgear on the wing? Wilson. So is he injured? Is he playing Resi?
Playing Resi.
Plays Resis.
So it just shows you how good Tuala... And there's always been... potential in Ari Tuala. But I just think he's been so good for him. Like, just come in, done a job, scored a bunch of tries. You know, you pair him, obviously Kiraz mixes between wing and centre and fullback. But, like, they've just got so much depth in the outside backs now. I think he's been outstanding. I really do.
Well, Blake, they got Rennie Karma there as well. So Wilson's like third prong.
Well, they
crazy.
got Montoya too.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Good win.
Wow. That's actually insane when you think about it. I tell you what, if I'm a club, I'm looking for Blake Wilson or one of those players I'm trying to get.
I like him too.
Yeah, I think he's good.
Yeah, he's quick. He's a great finisher.
Yep.
Yep. So, oh, man, they are, what's really, not bizarre, but really good for the Bulldogs is a team that on paper, only 12 months ago, you're going, on paper, like they're outperforming what they are on paper. All of a sudden are beginning like, oh, on paper, they're actually really good. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like the Penrith Panthers. Everyone thinks, oh, I've seen the comments. Ivan Cleary came into a stacked side. It's like, no, he didn't. He had one Origin player and he made them Origin players. And I wonder if that's kind of like what we're going to see with the Bulldogs next kind of people coming through. So really, really good performance from the boys.
Just one we haven't touched on yet. Keen to get your thoughts on Hayward starting.
Yeah.
Obviously, Reid Marnie coming off the bench in this one, but it's interesting to see. You know, they've made a couple of big calls when they've been going so well already. They've tweaked a few things now on the fly. That's pretty brave, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it shows you that they're not here to win one premiership. Like, they are truly here to build a dynasty.
Yeah.
Because some of these calls are some of the most ruthless calls I've ever seen in my life. But if you're a fan of a club, you want a ruthless coach. And I know that sucks as an ex-player. I wouldn't want a ruthless coach because, you don't know, you're walking on eggshells every week. But to win comps, you need a ruthless coach. And I'll tell you what, Ivan Cleary is ruthless. He is ruthless. Go back to Zach Hosking, had a pretty good year. All of a sudden, finals footy comes around, Garner gets selected, Hosking misses out in the grand final.
Alamotti was almost the best player in the grand final last year. He can't get a bait in the side.
It's just unfortunately the way it is. I do feel for Reid. He's been there since the start. He cares. The concern for Reid is that they've just extended Hayward, but the concern is like, do you even carry him on the bench? They've got Kurt Mann. They've got a bunch of guys that could probably fill in if they need to.
You don't need him on the bench.
Yeah, like
when you've got Kurt Mann there as backup.
And so what do you do with the Bulldogs? Because I'm never one to say playing someone in reserve grade is disrespectful because reserve grade's fine. Like, it's reserve grade. But it's like he hasn't played poorly enough to be put back there. It's really just about the future. It would be a sad ending to a guy that's been a big part of this rebuild to see him in reserve grade to finish the season. So they're in a bit of a hard spot.
Yeah, I think the Bulldogs motto they've got on the back of their jersey is like, what is it? Club first, team second, you're third, or something along those lines. And fuck, they're just doing it ruthlessly, aren't they? Like, just leaning into that 100%. Whatever is best for the team in our eyes for the future, we're all in on that.
Team first. Oh, you're getting dropped this week. Fuck. No, you're right though. You're absolutely right. They are team first. So outstanding win from the Bulldogs. Onto the Warriors. Onto the Wars. I cannot believe at all you're playing in the wet and you don't pick Tanner Boyd, the best kicker at your club.
It's one of the. I think it's such a bad decision.
What the hell? For such a good coach, and I know Tanner Boyd hasn't set the world alight. I know he hasn't been great, but he's still the best kicker at the club. What the hell? I don't understand it.
I get the decision to put Tanner Boyd in reserve grade, but given context and conditions they were playing in, insane. I couldn't believe it. And to his credit, Tanner, he went back to reserve grade, had a really good game. They had a come from behind victory. I think he ran for about 190 metres or something. He had a few try assists. He did well, but as soon as they ran out, I just went, what the fuck are they? What are they going to do?
But shouldn't that show that they should persist with him? If he kills it in reserve grade so much, you give him, what was it, 2 games?
Maybe 4?
Yeah, I think he's had about a month.
He's had about a month.
He hasn't set the world alight.
He hasn't been terrible either.
No, but, man, I just thought, if they pick up the phone and look at their weather app, it pretty much says Tanner Boyd.
Yeah, like the
I
one
couldn't
person.
believe it.
Yeah, mate, I'm shocked beyond belief.
There's a couple of weird ones, like even Leka Halasima coming off the bench. He played 43 minutes. I know there was had a bit of a head knock there at one stage, but Leka, who has been arguably the form back row of the competition for about 3 months, and Webby's sort of had a preference to play Leka off the bench or at least rotate him. It just sort of hasn't eventuated because of backline injuries. It's had Capel playing at centre a fair bit as well, and he went Murata Niokore in the back row starting ahead of him, and look, maybe it was a conditions-based decision thing as well, but I don't know, if Leka, 43 minutes. Surely you just start him and Capel on your edge and put Murata Niokore into that middle rotation.
Especially when you're so low on middle forwards.
And look, I'm not saying that Leka needs to be an 80-minute back rower, but I'm getting him minimum 60 and probably minimum 65, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm with you. Maybe he's reported fatigue or something.
Maybe.
First year, had a huge year. And also, was it last game he was cramping up at the end? Yeah, Titans.
I think so, yeah.
So, yeah, actually, that's probably the reason. Webster's probably looked at that and gone,
Workload.
your workload, you're cramping up at the end there. We need to reduce it a little bit. I have to say, I think I saw one of the worst calls ever. And we've seen some bad ones. Since when, please tell me since when, do we say the player ducked his head into the contact, therefore it's not a penalty? Since when? Valmunga goes in for a tackle, barely ducks his head. All he's doing is bracing for contact on the try line, and they say, he ducked his head a little bit, no penalty. When has that ever been a rule? Like, have you ever seen that since this whole crackdown has come in?
I missed the play, so he ducked into it and got hit
Barely.
high or something?
He barely ducked. He basically, when I say duck, I'm talking that, like to bump.
And then got hit high.
Got hit high clean.
Yeah,
and he might have even got HIA'd. I don't know.
If you hit in the head, it's a penalty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the ref literally said ducked into it, or the video ref or whatever. It just blows my mind. Like, the frustrating thing with the refs and the video ref is like the opportunity is just to make the right call, easy call, and you just, for some bizarre reason, like if there is any area where we let the refs just make, like there are times when players don't even get hit in the head and it's a head high. Like, there are so many times when that happens because it just looks like a big hit. So they go, penalty. And then the one time you can see him getting forearmed in the head, you say he ducked into it. I just blows my mind. And like, you know what? Look, you can understand why the Warriors fans do get pissed. And I know it happens to every club. I get it. But calls like that where you're just like, that's not even a 50-50. That's going against all the rules that you've done for the last 3 or 4 years for whatever reason.
Yeah, well, where the circumstances change with that is if they're ducking, it's around, all right, is it deemed severe enough to be a sin bin or whatever? It's like, well, if they're ducking, no, it's probably not a sin bin, but it's still a penalty.
What's crazy, when you see the tackle, bro, it's when I say ducking, I'm talking bracing for contact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't like he was down this low or whatever. Yeah. It's just a slight down of the head. Just an unbelievable
It wasn't
call.
toe trying to go through your
legs. No. It's mate, one of the in the one area where we give them a free pass to go, all right, protecting the head, okay, he touched him. That's the way of the world these days. Just go, don't worry about it. Look, Warriors were brave. I will say I actually think 32-14 wasn't probably how that complimented the Warriors a bit too much. I don't think they were actually even close in this game. They got dominated pretty much from start to finish. We've already talked about that Matty Burton 40-20, which is obviously the service of the week, brought to you by Aspley Mazda. So get in there. You've got the Bloke pack, guys. So they get you an exclusive Bloke deal with any new or used cars, but also, if you live in Southeast Queensland, 15% off services. So make sure to get in. Give him a message. But yeah, that 40-20 was unbelievable. But in regards to the Warriors, I literally just got on my notes here like multiple times. Warriors desperately need a kicking game. Boyd hasn't been great, but surely you select him in these conditions. I think that, maybe it's been a bit too harsh, but like, did you lose it in the selection table? Like, were you ever going to win that game when you have no kicking game?
Yeah, and I don't think they would have won this game anyway, but that was a shocker. It just, and I'm pretty sure Tomato Martin, he got a HIA in this game. I don't think he'll be back next week. So I would assume Tanner Boyd comes back into the side. I think if nothing else, he played his way into it last week in reserve grade. But Yeah, I just cannot make sense of that one.
Actually, this is how good the Bulldogs contact was. 'Cause I thought the Bulldogs contact was absolutely outstanding. So, and like they're hitting and sticking. That's something last week they weren't great at against the Tigers. RTS has only had one other game with 0 tackle breaks. It was round 11, and it was his first game back from injury. This was the first other game that he had 0 tackle breaks. Shows you like how good their defense is, that RTS isn't breaking any tackles for the entire game. This guy's been running for 250 metres a game last month. Bulldogs come out and just completely nullify him.
Chanel Harris-Tavita had 13 kicks for 238 run metres in reserve grade. Tanner Boyd had one more kick for 431 metres. It's almost double. One more kick.
Wow. What do you reckon, Hammy?
Yeah, I mean, the Doggies, I think, definitely had a bit of a point to prove. They'd lost the week before to the Tigers. Again, they would have expected to win. I know a couple of Doggies were on the Matty John show last night, and they were very happy that they finally won a game in the wet because they were kind of sick of all that chat about we can't win in the wet.
Did you see the quote from Seraldo?
What did he say?
He said, I hope it's wet this week.
Yeah, nice. Well, that's exactly what you want. You speak about like a ruthless coach and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, they got up for the challenge, and the Warriors were always going to do it tough. With they've got a lot of injuries as well, but I think the Doggies probably had a little bit more to play for in that they're really looking to cement that spot in the top 4. I think the Warriors, they've just been on the slide a little bit the last couple of weeks, so just came up against a good team. Yeah, maybe some interesting selections, but I don't think that Tanner Boyd was going to be enough to get them a win. But probably won't, if they had their time over, given the conditions, they'd do a bit differently.
Chance at centre and Tuapiki at fullback. I think Chance needs to go back to fullback.
Yeah, I don't hate it, but after the weekend, it's hard for me to argue.
For some reason, Chance doesn't get appreciated for what he brings to this side, but when they're at their best, Chance is fullback.
I'm with you, Campy. I don't get it. What's he done wrong?
I don't understand it. Like, the only time they play well is when Chance is, not the only time, but most of the time it's with Chance at fullback.
I think once they get Leotower or Rocco Berry back, I think they will move Chance back there. But still, like, they've had no worries playing like Kirk Capel out there and whatnot. And in those conditions the other night, I thought you probably could have.
It's a perfect game for a guy like Chance in those conditions. So, yeah, very, very surprising. Okay. Don't forget, guys, the Bloke Club members, they get 20% off their Grumpy Coffee. It's free to join, www.bloke.club. Alrighty, Rabbitohs edge out the Titans. It just says Rabbitohs edge Titans. So you've been edging, eh? Okay. 20-18. Brought to you by Aussie Footy Shorts, guys. That's tonight, 6 p.m. Make sure to be there. It's on Aussie Footy Shorts website. This is extremely disappointing for the Titans. To get beaten at home after the last 2 weeks of footy that you've played by a Rabbitohs that are decimated, and granted, they had Latrell back, which was like literally made them night and day. But just like, it just shows you that I just don't think Desi's the man for the job, man. They had 2 good games, and now they're back to getting beaten by a Rabbitohs side while they're essentially at full strength.
They're such a ridiculous rugby league team. Like, arguably should have beaten Penrith, the best team in the last 5 years, and had won 9 or 10 in a row, whatever it is. Week before that, they go over to New Zealand, beat the Warriors in an outstanding performance, a top 4 team, but then they can't beat the Bunnies.
It's bizarre.
Like,
at home,
they're just
dry track.
I don't get them. I don't get anything about them.
I'm with you, mate. I'm with you. And then Tino, he's gone. Like, they need to blow the whole bloody thing up and just start again and be okay with winning a couple of spoons. Like, they need to be okay. What's crazy is the Gold Coast nursery for players is unbelievable. Like, it is unbelievable. Like, multiple schools, PBC, Keebra, all them have some of the best talent in the country. And so you've got the juniors. You just need to find a way to funnel them through.
Being up there as well at this game, like, mate, there was in the first half, like, I think AJ scored the first try. For the next 20 minutes after that, they had a lot of momentum go their way. Jaden Campbell obviously got over the line, and Latrell knocked it out, which who got our Nord player, our Nord defensive player?
Cobbo.
Jeez, Trell, mate. I've never seen an effort play like that from Latrell.
No.
Like, that was nowhere near him. He had no reason to do that. He just went all out on that play. He obviously had a poor one later out of dummy half, but Latrell, his intensity, and you could tell from the moment they walked out to warm up. Sometimes Latrell's up and about and he's waving at people. He was not to be fucked with. Yes.
Nah.
What was your pre-game advice to him, mate?
I was too busy watching Kano Kenny on my phone, so I'm not.
How do you look, Kenny?
How'd he look? The best 40 fucking minutes Workware Park's ever seen.
How was Latrell's Indigenous round, of course? First came
killed
out
it.
from injury at centre up. First 3 plays. Try assist for Alex Johnston. Slapped down the arm of Jaden with that unbelievable effort area. And then diffused a crossfield kick, which was also brilliant. They were his first 3 touches back from injury.
Insane. Like he really just is on another level. And, you know, sometimes he can be a bit quiet or whatever, but he's one of the very, very rare players that when they want to, they are the best player on the field. Like most people, if you play a really good game, you're like, oh, I was the best player on the field, but it's not a choice. It's not a choice. You just happen to have a good game. Latrell, it is literally a choice. He just goes, I want to be the best player. Okay, sweet.
He did late in the game, I think it was when they were behind from memory, he scooted blindside about 5-10 out from the Titans line. The corridor was about half a metre. There was like 3 players there. It was ridiculous and not on, but I'm like, this is the shit Latrell can do.
Yeah.
Because, you know, 1 in 2 or 3 times, he'll somehow get over and score that.
But it was also in that moment as well. Like I don't like on that play. South just couldn't get out of their own end. I just love that he just went, fuck it, let's turn the ball over in this corner and meter out, and let's pressure on. Like he turned the one that you said before where he diffused the kick. I think it was Kieran Foran that kicked it, mate. Even before Foran got it, you could just tell all of South Sydney and Latrell just went, wherever this goes, I'm fucking coming down with it.
Yeah.
His intent was just different yesterday.
Well, he won them the game.
Yeah.
Like that, he really was worth bloody 20 points.
Yeah.
If he's not on the field, they absolutely lose that game. He was just so good. And Indigenous round, boys, what was the best jersey to you guys? I've got to say, I thought the Raiders jersey was outstanding.
Very strong.
The Roosters was, never say this about the Roosters, theirs was awesome.
Yeah.
They usually
I
do
like the
them
Bulldogs one.
very well.
Doggies?
Yeah.
There is a smoky that hasn't been unveiled yet. No, I'm serious. Playing this weekend, and the Tigers colours all really suit some of the
the
designs.
paint colours, yeah.
So they've got a really strong one as well. But they'll wear that this week against Manly. Look, I think they're all really good. To be honest with you, they're all fantastic over the weekend. The Roosters, though, the last couple of years have really they've probably been the standout for me. I reckon.
I think we had I could be wrong when I say this, but I think we had a first as well in the NRLW. I think the Roosters side, they had their own Indigenous jersey. Like for the
how good.
NRLW, yeah.
Mate, I love the jerseys. They always, like, there's always some good jerseys during Indigenous round, and because of the style of art that is Indigenous, it appeals to being a bit like bright, not bright, but out there kind of thing. So you can make it stand out.
The Doggies is sick, isn't
Doggies
it?
was
It was
mad.
really, actually, that's the best.
Guess what?
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, that's nice. Nice. I'm still going Raiders, though.
Yeah.
I thought the Raiders was sick. Absolutely sick. Broncos was good, nice and understated. Had that kind of like goldish feel.
Yes, yep, that was good.
But yeah, anyway, back to the Rabbitohs. Really, really good win for the Rabbitohs. I've got to say, you just, like, the effort that they put in for a team that's like decimated has just been outstanding, especially after last week. Like, they could have easily come in and just been like flat as attack, you know, the season's over. And this win essentially guarantees them, not guarantees, but like essentially not winning the wooden spoon. And when you look at the amount of injuries they've had, for them not to win the spoon, I think that's outstanding.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think first time I've seen him play live, this Ashton Ward, I like the look of him.
Yeah.
They obviously targeted him on that edge.
he's
Kieran
small.
Foran tried to isolate him, but mate, he didn't hide away from anything.
Tiny?
Yeah, very. There's really not much to him. Like even next to Jai Gray, like they're quite a similar size. He's slightly taller than him, but just he's thin, so thin. But I like him. I think he's got a future.
How old is he?
He's 21.
He reminds me a bit of Luke Keary.
Yeah, when Luke Keary first
okay.
came in, that's exactly what he's like. Yeah. I tell you what, I did love being up there at this game, and yeah, I think sometimes Titans fans get a little bit lost in the noise. I love whenever Jai Arrow stood up to get on the field, Titans fans just fucking gave it to him.
Oh, really?
So it was good to see.
Because Titans are too nice.
Well, usually,
Yeah, yeah.
but they gave it to Jai.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I thought Jai worked his backside off. I'm just so excited for the South Sydney Rabbitohs when they get their full strength side. Like I really think they could go from the shithouse to the penthouse next year. Granted, it's all about actually getting a season. It's been 3 years now where they've just been decimated by injury. Alex Johnston scoring 2 tries. Was it 2?
Yep.
Yep.
4 to go.
So he's got 3 to go. I think. 4 to beat it.
4 to break it.
3 to even.
Square it.
What do you reckon, boys? Is he going to break it?
Well, they got to buy, and then 3 games
Big
after.
thing for him is that I assume Latrell Mitchell will probably go back to fullback soon. Hopefully it's that last game against the Roosters.
Yeah, that'd be so good at Allianz.
So there's 4 rounds left.
Yeah, so they've got the Eels this
They got a
weekend.
bye.
Then they got the Dragons, bye, and then they finish round 27 against the Roosters at Allianz.
Four
He'll get
tries.
it. He'll get it. Surely.
He's getting a double in round 27. It's written, script's written.
'Cause
Double
like
in round 27.
Friday 8 p.m. as well. How good?
Charlie Mitt will just make it happen.
Yeah.
He'll just make it happen.
So
He could make it happen this weekend if you wanted
Yeah,
to.
seriously. Seriously.
3 to level, 4 to beat it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
127.
crazy, bro. That's so crazy.
What a tease if he gets 3. We've got to wait all off.
Oh,
No, I
man.
mean, they play Parramatta into the Dragons, so he could do it.
Yeah.
I believe, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe Ken Irvine broke the record against the Dragons. So that could be a little story if
Wow.
he gets it against the Dragons in 2
No
weeks.
way. No way.
And that's
Out
a
of-
home game as well for them.
out
the
of the
Dragons
core.
one.
Far out.
What,
Surely.
if and when he
Done
does
the
it,
field.
we're storming the field?
Got to storm the field,
Freddie
surely.
Franklin style? I think it's got to be done, hasn't it?
Like, it's the greatest try scorer in the history of the game.
So you really want that game to happen at Allianz then?
Oh, you want it to be Allianz
If it's at a
last
core,
week.
I know it's not their home ground, but or A, they kind of want it to be their home ground for starters, and B, you can fill that up and get some great shots of that. If it's at
Yeah.
a core, you're not going to get 85,000.
The best thing will be if it's out there at Allianz and the Roosters are in 8th place, if the Bunnies can beat them to knock them out of the finals too.
It'll be pumping.
It'll be unreal. And you'll have Tupu and AJ. You'll have 2 of the top 4 try scorers by that point ever.
And the other
Same
thing,
feel?
the other thing about it is the 3 games they play, everything the NRL comes back to, and professional sport for that matter, comes back to TV and TV rights and all of that. They're all the last game of the day on Saturday, Thursday, Friday. So if they have to push it an extra 20, they can do it. Whereas if it was one of the earlier games, say 6 p.m. Friday or a Saturday at 5:30, it then goes into the next game. So it'd be like they'd be tentative, but the last game's like sweet, push it back 20 minutes.
If he gets 1 or 2 tries as well over the next couple of weeks, that bye week is great because you've basically got 2 weeks of just pumping up. The next game is going to be
Yeah.
he's going to have a shot at it.
Yeah.
Like the amount of hype and
Has the NRL said anything about the storm in the field? Have they?
no, they haven't.
I don't think so.
Surely secretly they want it to happen.
Yeah, because we don't want the AFL to outdo
The
us.
pictures go around the world of that sort of stuff. You know?
yeah. Sweet.
And we don't want the AFL to be like, when Buddy, because did Buddy become the highest point
He hit
scorer?
1,000 goals.
Yeah. Oh, 1,000 goals.
Yeah, and that lady stood up in front of the camera, which is
Yeah,
like
that's right.
Oh,
iconic.
yeah. How funny would it be if, like, the NRL want him to do it against the Roosters, so he just keeps getting tries disallowed?
Forward pass.
What I'm absolutely shitting bricks about is what if we're allowed to storm the field, he breaks it, and then everyone runs on the field, but then they go to the bunker and it gets taken off him.
That would be even better. That'd be funny as.
Imagine if it went up and there was they analysed it for ages. And then it was came back, try confirmed while everyone's out on the field. Oh, that'd be the best.
Everyone watching the screen.
Just like that meme in the pub where it's like bouncing around the screen. And it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, great performance from the from the Rabbitohs. On to the Titans quickly before we move on. I actually thought Jojo Fafita was outstanding. I thought some of his try savers were phenomenal. I've always thought he has so much potential. Just a matter of obviously finding that potential, but I thought he was really good.
He had that, Nadi would probably say it differently, but the pass for the try early on, which is outstanding, possibly a little bit forward. The try saver on Bentley Hape late in the game, which is a key one. He's been awesome for them.
Yeah, he's super quick as well. So much talent. I just wonder whether there's a club out there that goes, listen, come down here on 200K, we'll turn you into a bloody good forward, bloody good player. Because
Like,
he's
he could
good.
explode.
Mate, he's just so talented. He just hasn't really gotten the opportunity that some of these other outside backs at the Titans have gotten. And granted, maybe it's for his own defence or I don't know, whatever.
Like
But there's
all
talent.
these backs at the Titans, though, one week could be right wing, then it'll be left wing, then it'll be left centre,
Yeah.
then it'll be right centre, then it'll be off the bench. And it's just like, if you just ended up with apologies to Titans, but the fact is he's been in and out and he's been dropped at times. So it's like, oh, well, what do they think of him? And there's a few defensive lapses, but there's defensive issues across the entire Titans outfit. Like, I don't think he's that bad or certainly not to blame because he's a solid body
Yeah.
and he's lightning quick. there's more in him.
If you let the Melbourne Storm pick out of a hat between Brian Kelly, Jojo, Campiera and Phil Sami, and they pick out one of them and they can have them, great signing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, all four of them have got incredible talent, but just that the Titans haven't been able to quite put it together.
Yeah. Like, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people go, oh, it'd be hard to move some. If they want to rebuild, it'd be hard to move these players on. It would not be hard because they have a bunch of talent. Like, you reckon Jolliffe is going to struggle to get club?
I was just about to go in for my weekly checkup. He played 70 minutes in this game,
Yeah.
170 metres.
Yeah, killed it. So it's all there. It's all there. Just a matter of putting it together.
Was two things. Obviously, I was out there, so you guys would have had a better view. Was the Latrell thing on Sam Verrills after, was that any shot at a 8-point try?
No, I don't think so. A bit of push and shove.
Is there a Jaden Campbell high tackle late on him? Was there head contact? I thought live out there was, but
I don't recall. it.
At the end, when
Yeah,
Campbell,
I thought there was a bit of
that could have been a penalty. South's got a bit lucky there.
that was one of those moments I thought Jaden Campbell's been punished for not lying down there.
Yeah,
which I
okay.
hate.
Okay. They'll say there hasn't been a directive, but it seems like they're much more lax on head highs at the moment.
Have a look at. I reckon if Jaden Campbell stays down, they would have got a penalty for that.
Yeah, they would have for sure.
And that's why you've got to be strong on this as the NRL, because you can't get angry at them for lying down, but then not reward them. And I say reward, I say give them a penalty when they don't. Okay, last game of the round. Eels versus the Cowboys. One of the great blow-ups all time I've ever seen by a player, Mitchell Moses.
Which one?
Oh, mate.
They were within 90 seconds of each other.
Holy moly. He had worked his absolute ring out to get the win for the team. And then, unfortunately, the young fella De Silva just couldn't seem to get it together at the end there with some pass selections. And Mitchell Moses gave him both barrels. Holy moly.
I am 100% okay with it.
Yeah,
was
I like it
screaming
too.
at my TV, fucking infuriated.
Oh, yeah,
He's
as
good
a
player
leader.
talent, but just if Parramatta have waited all year to get this dude back, give him the fucking football.
Yeah, look, I love young players that are confident, but sometimes you've just got to lock into the plan. Yeah.
And that's it, right? Like, what do we say about the Penrith Panthers and why they have this dynasty? Everyone knows their role and they play their role perfectly. It's never about the individual. And I think it was 18-all with a handful of minutes left. They were set up and Talon De Silva went from dummy half by himself with nothing on when Mitch Moses sitting there waiting to call the ball. It's just like, what are you doing?
Man, and I actually, some people, yelling at your players. Like, I think your captain yelling at your players or just at least holding them accountable, I've got no issue with that because when you don't do that, you get teams that are inconsistent that are okay with making errors.
And, like, throw the PT crap out the window of, you can't be mean and yell at him and call him this and that. It's like, this is the rugby league.
Yeah.
This is professional sport. This is their livelihood. This is why they're there because they are better than the rest of us who have tried to play rugby league. And I love it. Look, if he's doing it every single week and hammering the same bloke and, dropping C-bombs, that's different. But as a one-off in the moment thing, I'm not saying Mitch Moses hasn't done it before because he has, but it's not a targeted thing. Talon made poor decisions and Mitch Moses has standards trying to get the team over the line.
Now, just quickly on the Cowboys. So Peyton, there was a clip that a lot of people put up of Peyton saying he didn't agree with the call. He's been clipped out of context. So I watched the press conference. So that's why I was so surprised that clip was circulating because if you watch the press conference, it was a joke. And then straight after, he's like, no, they got it right. Yes, did he say Mitchell Moses dived? He did, but he was like, that's just part of because Moses did dive. Like, he's just part of it. So I do feel sorry for Toddy Payton there because a lot of people think that he's talking about that try call.
Until you told me this morning, I had no idea because you saw it in so many places. I just took it as, okay, that's what he said, that's what he did.
Yeah, like he's having a silk. Yep. No, absolutely not the case. Obviously, I showed you guys the press conference just earlier today. So I feel a bit sorry for Peyton there, and I just don't understand why people did it. I don't get, what's the point? You get a little bit of an engagement, then what? Anyway. But yeah, with the Eels, just a good solid win from them, to be honest. They're just building confidence towards the back end of the year. After the first 23 minutes, both teams were 100% completion rate. That's crazy.
The Cowboys were had one incomplete set 70 minutes into the game. Finished 40 or 42.
Don't they just look a world of difference with Taumalolo on the side? they look like a completely different side. Cohen Hess, I thought Cohen Hess was outstanding as well for the Cowboys.
Jeez, that tackle was bad though.
Yeah.
One on Joe Ash.
Yeah.
I think he's got 3 weeks for it.
Yeah. Ouch. Damn,
It's disappointing because we've been saying his name for the last month straight. Doing really well.
Man, Hess had 110 metres in the first half. And but yeah, in regards to the Eels, we'll stick on the Eels, we'll get to the Cowboys. I thought Moretti was really good, especially to start. Just his aggression. I really like his aggression. I think that there's more potential in him as well. I thought Papali was really good under the high ball. Just a good solid win because I actually thought the Cowboys played probably one of their better games because they seem to have got more energy with Taumalolo in the side. Who stood out for you in the Eels, mate?
I thought the Kuma boy, Jack Williams, just again, we speak about him most weeks, but just consistent. Sort of, I don't know if he broke the deadlock, but through the offload for that first try to Josh Adokar. It wasn't a deadlock, but I thought he was excellent again.
Played the full 80 on the edge too.
Yeah.
Moving in the middle. It's interesting.
Hasn't he been just such a smart signing? You know, just a guy that probably needed a coach to back him all the way in. Obviously coming off the bench a lot for the Sharkies. Funnily enough, is like the Sharkies would be great right there, like right now, because he's just so good and consistent. But yeah, I just think that Riles is just a tick for him. Like the fact that he's brought him to the club, he's been one of their better players all year long. Outside of that, like
Fox.
Yeah, Fox.
I think we spoke about him a little bit earlier, but, another couple of tries. Mobsy gave him a shout-out, fastest player in the comp. Again, reclaimed his title. But this year from Fox has been unreal since he's gone to the Eels. I think he's had a really good year. And, another solid hit out on the weekend.
Dill Brown at centre.
Yeah, I was about to say, what do you think?
Yeah, you obviously heard the rumours late last week around Bailey wanting out because Dill was in front. I don't know. I didn't believe it when I first heard it. I thought it was a bit bizarre. Like, why? If you look into the future, why?
And it almost, I don't know this speculation, but it almost feels calculated to move Bailey Simonson on.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to move him on, if he's requested to leave 3 times, why don't you say yes?
Yeah,
When I haven't watched the Eels super closely, but when I've seen this year, he ripped and teared. When he played against the Tigers, he ran like 230 metres.
He's been good this year. He's gone back to Cup and terrorised people down there, Simonson. He's been really good. So I can't. And even like Samrani, who's going to be there into the future, like he's played centre and back row.
So he wasn't injured, Samrani?
No, he was named to play, and then Brown came in for him, which was odd.
He played left edge back row in reserve grade last week, so they could have picked him there.
I thought he got injured.
No. So they had the option. That's why I can't make sense of it. Like if you're trying to send a message to Bailey, sure, but then to pick Dill Brown, I don't know.
That's bizarre. I'd love to know the thought process there.
Maybe there is some degree of, and like he's been all in on the transitioning to next season and going early with it. He's just gone, look, Dill Brown has been a staple of this club for a long time. Let's give him a home game, a game and a run, an 80-minute game, the opportunity presented with injuries, perhaps.
Yeah, like one last game, I guess.
Yeah, something like that.
Was because they were at home, weren't they?
In which case, I don't mind. It's like, all right, we obviously doesn't want to play him in the halves or other positions, so it's like chance came up to give him. Whether or not it's his last hurrah, I don't know, but I'm okay with it if that's the...
Yeah, if that's the case, because it is like, you got to show... Players that have been around for quite a while, you got to show them respect as they leave. So if that actually might be the reason, because how many home games do they have?
They've got 2 more games there.
2 more games. Who are they playing?
The Roosters and Newcastle.
Okay, so Newcastle... It'll be interesting to see if he gets selected against Newcastle. Because it'd be probably... I guess we'll see. We'll see over the next few weeks.
I mean, and like I get it from like a defensive point of view. Like I'm okay having Dill Brown out there. I don't know. It just seems strange how it's all playing out.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I get with like other guys he's let go, like Cartwright and Madison and Cam McGill, like all these guys that are underperforming in my opinion. But like I don't think Bailey's been one of them.
He's asked for 3 releases. Like they gave him a lifeline when he did his ACL, so he must be pretty frustrated to ask for 3 releases. But apparently Titans are interested. We'll see where it ends up.
I think there'll be a lot of people interested.
Yeah, he's a good player.
All right. Outside of that, I thought Top Good, one of his best games of the season.
Yep.
Root, thoughts, mate?
Yeah, he was good. He's been pretty up and down this season. And was it last week or the week before that he had a real tough
I think
day?
last week.
Last week.
Oh,
was
bad, like poor game.
Yeah, poor
maybe
game.
a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago. But I thought this was one of his better games. But like he'll be an interest. Like we've seen, as you know, I just rolled off a list of guys that Riles has shown the door to. Like Jermaine's going to have to find some form.
Yeah, and what's
next season?
What's strange is I feel like if there was one player in this whole roster that I thought would have been like all in with Riles, and not to suggest he's not all in, but suit Riles, it was literally Hopgood.
Yeah, I think at the start of the season he was carrying this back injury, and you know he was playing 9, he was playing 20 minutes or whatever. But like the last few weeks, he seems to be playing pretty big minutes.
So 127 metres and 46 tackles, 0 misses. Jesus. Anyway, good win. Good win for the Eels. Just quickly on the Cowboys. They actually played much better than they, have been. I really like that you can look at their completion rate and say at least they cared. It's just a matter of like, are the Eels a top 8 side and that's why they lost, or are they just their best right now is just not that good? I tend to lean more in the Eels are probably playing like a top 8 side at the moment. So I thought I was pretty okay with the Cowboys. It's been a terrible season, but I thought they tried hard.
I thought Valame coming back into this side, I haven't seen him in a while. He ran for 212 metres. He's a handy player. Has he been injured or are they just not picking him? I haven't seen him in ages. He's a good player though.
Mate, what about Purdue in attack? Like, he's
so quick.
Friggin' unbelievable. His defence needs a bit of work. He turns in a bit too much, but that's what every rookie has parts of their game they need to improve.
He's also probably playing out of position.
He
right?
is playing out of position.
Yeah, well,
come
there you
through
go.
the halves and that.
There you go. But like, oh man, for a centre in his first year, not even a centre actually, but a young player in his first year at a club that's absolutely struggling, for him to have as much attacking flair as he's had is absolutely incredible.
Do we think Purdue and Dearden, like they work as a halves combination, like we convince long term?
I think that's a plan.
Yeah, and like why not? Like it's this elite ball running half. Tommy Dearden sort of continues that evolution into an organising number 7. Whether or not he does it successfully or not, I don't know. But you wouldn't bet against him, and like that could be the halves combo for 10 years.
You just got to give him a full off season.
Yeah.
Don't throw him in there in round 7.
He's a new role.
Yeah. And you give him an off season and you give him until Origin and then reassess.
Because like the funny thing is Duffy was the main man to start the season. Now he's nowhere to be found. As in like obviously he's in reserve grade. And like I actually think like obviously that's partly his fault, but also like the fact that he got the jump on everyone, you could argue that's poor selection as well, because you're usually what you want to do in round 1, and it's not going to happen most of the time, but you want to pick the best side that sees out the whole year. And if you don't, then you're chopping and changing. So I actually, the club needs a half. I think Duffy is someone that I'd be looking for.
Clifford came into the season with some injury, but from what I've heard, Duffy was the guy. That's the guy that they went for regardless. So, I said at the time, I don't think they gave him enough time.
But yeah, outside of that, at least they tried. It was at least a try. I thought Cotter was really good, one of his better games.
Yep.
Got through a bunch of work, 57 tackles, holy moly. But Toddy Payton, it's such a tough one, man. I don't know. It's such a permanent decision to say you're done. It just depends who's there. If Hane's there and he is the man, like I don't know, like maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But anyone less than maybe Hane, I just go maybe you give Payton till round 10 next year. What do you reckon?
If Hane's available, I go him, but I think you're right. I don't know who else is around there. I just think next year, I think Reece Robson's going to leave an enormous hole in this side. Is he the only one they're losing? I think off the top of the head he is.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But he's going to leave a massive hole. And I still have no idea who. Oh, they've got Reed Marty coming up.
Yeah.
Still very different players.
What would you do?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit like the Adam O'Brien one where I'm like, he's done enough in recent years and played a bit of finals footy, Toddy Payton in the Cowboys, and had some really good seasons. So as long as he's got the dressing room and the players are back him, they want to play for him, I'm okay with it. I just think they need to make a few shrewd sort of recruitments defensively, and I'm not talking world beats. I'm just like, I just think their edges defensively give up so much. They need to shore up that. So I think there's potentially some personnel that they need to change over. I don't think necessarily has to be Peyton, but again, if there is a case where he's lost the dressing room and players aren't happy with him, move him on.
If he hits the open market, do you think he'll have trouble getting another job, Todd Payton?
No, I think get another job, as in a head coach job.
Yeah.
I think he'll still, like, he's a relatively youngish coach. Yeah. And like, he has been pretty successul, like 3 out of the 5 years.
I think there's something there.
Yeah, there's definitely something there.
Coach of the year a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, he'd get a gig.
You get a gig, surely. What do you reckon? What would you do?
Yeah, look, I just think the defence is usually, not always, but usually a sign that they're, you're buying into the coach. It's a dressing room that wants to play for each other and all that sort of stuff. And they've just leaked so many points this year. I think they've leaked more than anyone else in the competition, and it's been an issue for a while. Just haven't been quite able to fix it. Maybe it is time for a new perspective up there. Who that might be, I don't know. Or, maybe they have a look at some of their assistants and whoever's running the defence at the moment. They've got to make a change of some sort, though. They don't think they can just do the same thing. But, very disappointing year for them. Taumalolo back the other day.
Helped them heaps.
Yeah, did make a difference, didn't it?
Alrighty. Time for Face the Music, brought to you by Sportsbet. Don't forget, guys, Aussie Footy Shorts tonight, 6 p.m. on the website, limited edition.
Don't forget, NRL Pick Your Ladder as well. Do your ladder predictor, then you can jump on the Sportsbet app and you can actually bet on the exact finishing position 1st to 4th and 5th to 8th as well. So go and have a look at that. Outstanding game to kick off round 24 at CommBank Stadium. Penrith Panthers $1.83 host the Melbourne Storm, $2. The line is 1.5 points.
Far out. This is so friggin' hard. I'm going to go Panthers 1 to 12.
280.
Can I go a little bit outside of the square?
Depends what it is. What you got?
Can I bet on Golden Point?
Oh, we have got it here.
I think that'll be a cracker. I think it's normally like $10 or $11 or something. If not,
Will
I'll
there
just
be
go
extra
10.
time?
Yeah. How much is it?
$13.
Thank you.
It's up to you, mate.
I'll let you have it. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
$13. Go to Golden Point.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't do any head-to-heads. I'm going to go Panthers head-to-head. I was looking at like covering the line of 1.5. I'm like, I'm not that confident. I had Panthers to win.
Panthers head-to-head.
Yeah, I'm going to go Panthers head-to-head as well, $1.83. Then we go to...
I guarantee Storm win now because we all went friggin' Panthers.
As long as they win in Golden Point.
all right, then on Friday, 6 p.m, Warriors, $1.55 host the Dragons, $2.46, 4.5 is the line.
Dragons 13 plus.
$6.50.
Dragons 1 to 12.
$3.35.
Warriors to cover.
I'll go Dragons with the 4.5 start.
And I got Dragons head-to-head, $2.46. Great game as well on Friday evening. Roosters, $2.26 host the Dogs, $1.64. 2.5 is the line in this one at Allianz.
Roosters. Roosters head-to-head.
I'll go Chooks 1 to 12.
$3.25.
Yeah, I don't want it to happen, but I'll go Roosters 13 plus, bit of a flyer.
Yeah, $5.50.
I'll go Roosters with the 2.5 start.
Yeah, I'm going to go Dogs 1 to 12, $2.85. Going to be a crack at that one. Then we go to Shark Park, or Shark Stadium, as it is now called on the NRL website. $1.30 the Sharks, as they host the Gold Coast Titans, $3.52. 11.5 points is the line in that one. This just feels like one of those ones that randomly the Titans could.
Yeah, I know.
I know what I'm doing.
Oh,
I'll just go Titans 13 plus.
$10.
$10.
Oh, you could lead after this week, Roo.
I could.
Where you're going. I'll go Sharks to cover.
I'll go Sharks to cover.
I'm going to go Titans head-to-head, $3.52. Saturday, 5:30, Broncos, $1.68 host the Dolphins, $2.18. 3.5 points is the line at Suncorp.
Broncos head-to-head.
$1.68, yep.
Dolphins 13 plus.
5.10.
Dolphins 1 to 12.
$3.35.
Bronx head-to-head.
Yeah. This is a tough one. For the Tigers to make the 8, I need the Broncos to win, so Broncos head-to-head, $1.68 for me. Bunnies, $2.28, host the Eels, $1.63. 3.5 points is the line, Saturday, 7:30.
Eels head-to-head.
I'm going to go Bunnies 1 to 12.
Oh, $3.30.
Eels to cover.
I'll go South with the 3.5 start.
I'm going to go Eels to cover as well. Not going to get a better $2.60 than this. Tigers, $2.60. Host Manly, $1.50 at the 12th wonder of the world, Allianz Stadium. The line in this one is 5.5 points.
I'll go. Oh, I'll just go Tigers head-to-head.
Oh, nice.
Tigers 13 plus.
Oh, 6.25.
Don't mind it. I'll go through. Tigers 13 plus.
I'll go Tigers with the 5.5 start.
Yep. Oh, I'm going to go Tigers head-to-head at 2.60. Then the Cowboys, $1.46. They host the Newcastle Knights, $2.72. 6.5 points is the line up there at Townsville. Tough one.
I'll go. Oh man, this is a tough one. I'll go Cowboys 1 to 12.
Knights 1 to 12.
285, 375.
Cowboys to cover.
Yep.
Cowboys to cover.
I'm going to go Knights with the 6.5 point start. That's it.
That's
24.
it. Give us a follow on the feed, guys. Make sure to give us a follow on the feed. And as usual, as always, anything going on, boys, with you?
Yes, mate. Supercoach universe is expanding, and as is SC Playbook. So we've just opened up our latest branch, SC Playbook EPL. So the English Premier League. So anyone having a crack at that? We had our first potty on last night. Matty Yerman, a former Socceroo, currently playing for Macarthur Bulls, was on deck for that one. But all the same good gear, mate. So at scplaybook.com.au, got all our articles, podcasts, and all that. So go and check that out.
And also hosted by Maestro.
Maestro.
No way. The great Maestro.
Oh, you got Maestro that looks after you.
Yeah, he's
one of the great
He's
men.
one of the all-time greats.
Yeah,
Knows his
literally.
round ball stuff back to
And
front as well.
doesn't that man have a voice for like radio and podcasting and that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
One of the good guys.
He's a great producer. I've had him for years, like 3 or 4 years now.
Legend.
Legend of a bloke. Alrighty, that's us. We'll go fuck ourselves.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.